gets off to a quick start, gets a leg up in this one.
Certainly. And what about the mentality for both, though? You touched on it a little bit with Texas A&M and for Iowa State, though. They've lost 11 straight Big 12 conference games. Right. Is there some sort of psychological thing that just builds up?
Yeah, I think football players are human beings. And you can talk all you want about dismissing it, and a lot of these kids weren't part of the 11 games, conference games they've lost consecutively, and that's all true. But the fact is history, and these guys are aware of it. But the beautiful thing about it is tonight, this is a whole new opportunity. And if Iowa State takes care of business and takes care of the football, which is a big key against Texas A&M, extremely opportunistic, plus 10 in the turnover ratio, BJ. That's third best in the country, a big reason why they've won 3 in a row.
What a crowd on hand on this mid-October football game tonight between Iowa State and Texas A&M, and the Aggies are going to receive the opening kickoff to begin the football game. No surprise there, Dan McCarney and Iowa State wanting to kick off. But take a look at tonight's weather. You're right, this is great football weather. 70 degrees, humidity right at 55%. Can you believe this, Dave? Hardly a wind here at Jack Trice Stadium.
This is the most still that I've ever seen Ames, Iowa. Been here quite a few times, and usually there is some kind of wind blowing through here. And, wind is the only variable in weather that affects one team unless you have a crosswind. But the way this stadium's configured, you either got the wind at your back or you're going against it, and it favors one team and not the other. But that's not the case tonight. I don't even think it'll be a factor with the kicking game. Sometimes the wind at the higher elevations is more of a problem than down in the field. Tonight, it's still everywhere.
See, Iowa State head coach Dan McCarney, 27-27 since the year 2000, guiding this football program in his 10th season.
Well, and there's Coach Franchione, and once again, he's been with 6 different programs, and every single time he's turned the program around. Year 2, they've always won more games than they did in year 1. So he's got a blueprint, and that blueprint works. And Coach Mack's blueprint for Iowa State is just to be enthusiastic, energetic, and be aggressive.
A&M off to a terrific start, 3-1 on the year. So we're just about ready to go for the opening kickoff. It's Iowa State and Texas A&M. Aggies won last week against Kansas State in league play. Iowa State fell on the road to Oklahoma State. Brian Jansen will do the kicking. Tony Yelk not available. That was one of the story headlines entering this game, as it is every week for Iowa State, whether or not he'd play. The deep men back to receive for Texas A&M. A couple of guys to keep an eye on throughout the night.
Well, Yelk has got a hip flexor problem, and when you have to do an explosive move as a kicker, that's a tough injury.
And we're underway. A&M has a huge hole as they'll take it out beyond the 40, and their offense will be out of the field. Ellis Hobbs will make the tackle for Iowa State. So a good return for the Aggies and Jason Carter.
Interesting. Hobbs, starting cornerback on kickoff coverage. Both teams use starters on their coaches use starters on their special teams.
Here's Reggie McNeil having a terrific year. 6'2", 206-pound junior out of Lufkin. 152 yards rushing away from a 1,000-yard club at Texas A&M. There's only one other member there, and that's Bucky Richardson.
Yeah, you throw for 3,000, rush for 1,000. You've done something. That's a tremendous accomplishment. Here they come out in that one-back set in the shotgun, BJ, and that's really a two-back set. Both of these guys can lug the mail.
McNeil will keep it himself.
Wow.
He's finding some running room, and look out. McNeil ushered out of bounds by Ellis Hobbs. And some great starting field position for Texas A&M, and right away, Reggie McNeil makes things happen.
And he did it on his own, BJ. It was not bad defensive play by Iowa State, except you see them start to over-pursue. Look at everybody over-pursue, and McNeil makes them pay. He uses their aggressiveness and over-pursuit against them, and then just tremendous athletic ability with his speed and elusiveness in space.
1st and 10 for the Aggies at the 37 of Iowa State. This time McNeil will look to throw. He's going down the field, has a man, but overshoots him.
You know, that first play when McNeil tucked it and ran was an example of his creativity we were talking about.
Let's take a look at the offense for Texas A&M here tonight. As here's their offensive line.
This is the bell cow right there. Went from center to tackle, doing a great job. Kind of anchors the offensive line for Texas A&M.
At the skill position?
Skill position, of course, got a couple of players there headed by Lewis. And then we'll get to the Iowa State defense in just a minute.
Now more out of a traditional set. McNeil back to throw. He'll fire over the middle. Has a man there, but it's in and out of his intended target's hands. It'll be incomplete. Brings up third down.
McNeil definitely a little bit better passer out of pocket than in the pocket. Get him on the edge and give him a two-way go. That's when McNeil does all of his damage.
So a big third down here on the opening drive for the Texas A&M Aggies. As McNeil orchestrate here with the twin set to the top of the field. McNeil to throw again. Has his man getting inside of the 20-yard line for the Aggies on a reception.
Tydrick Riley right there.
Let's take a look at the Iowa State defensive lineup.
Led by Tyson Smith at the defensive end position, playing very, very solidly, and started the season as a linebacker, and really Eric Anderson doing a fine job at the linebacker position. Tim Dobbins, the junior college transfer, solid as well. Right here, Ellis Hobbs. Excellent corner. Mosier does a nice job at safety as well.
Tydrick Riley, a 6'2", 218-pound junior out of Crockett, Texas. First and 10 Aggies inside of the Iowa State 20. Here's Courtney Lewis on his first carry. You see the Hankies come out on the field.
Must have had a false start on Texas A&M. They were blowing that dead before it got too far underway. Somebody must have flinched up front, started a little early.
Let's go down to the field and hear from Cooper Castleberry.
The snap, a false start on number 64 of the offense. Penalty is 5 yards. It's still first down.
That's exactly what happened. Kirk Elder a little bit antsy up front. Dennis Franchione does not like penalties when you get close to the red zone. And inside the 20 at the red zone is where Texas A&M has been dynamic the last two games. 9 trips inside the red zone, 7 of those 9 trips, touchdown, the other 2 field goal.
In fact, they've converted 10 in a row.
Amazing.
Shotgun formation again on first down. McNeil runs the optional pitch to the inside man, and Jason Carter get it back inside of the 20 again.
Boy, that was a unique design right there. Look, here's the option man, not going to go to him. The receiver trailing. You can either pitch to the option or throw the shovel pass. That is Coach Dennis Franchione at his best. He's got a very fertile offensive mind. That was schemed very well right there and executed superbly.
2nd and 8 from the Iowa State 16. It's Lewis in the backfield. McNeil will run the option. He'll run back, and he's trapped. Tyson Smith credited with a tackle for the Cyclones.
But the guy that was very involved also, BJ, is Hobbs. He did a great job of playing his defensive position. Earlier, Hobbs, he got fooled. Watch him play the good spot right there. Contains it. You have to contain McNeil, and then you have to tackle him. And the first keep by McNeil, when he made people miss, Hobbs overran it. That time, he played his gap responsibility beautifully.
It's the opening drive for the Aggies. 3rd and 11. With the ball at the 19 of Iowa State. McNeil back to throw again. Over the middle and has a man, and getting into the end zone. Touchdown Aggies. Tydrick Riley.
Boy, went to him a couple of times in critical situations in this drive, and he delivered on both occasions.
Take a look at this one again.
Nice protection. It starts there. Look at everybody balled up inside. Nobody impeding the vision of McNeil down the field. And then broken tackles, or actually dragging tacklers into the end zone. Just a great effort by Riley. And I'll tell you what, Steve Parrish took a little ride there.
Todd Pegram on to add the extra point. He's been automatic throughout his career. 16 of 16 so far this season with the extra points. But this one
blocked.
Is blocked.
Yeah, too low. Got a hand on that one.
And it's a 6-0 lead for A&M. So the Aggies strike first. We'll have more coming up after these messages.
weeknights on FSN.
Totally Football is your inside source for all pro and college gridiron news.
The hardest hitting football show in the biz.
Patrick O'Neill and our insider Jay Glazer break all the stories before anyone else.
When I first broke it, people were telling me, yes, this is going to cause such a heated debate.
We'll take you inside the huddle and behind the scenes for all the pigskin action. Totally Football, weeknights on FSN.
Texas A&M with a 6-0 lead on Iowa State. They score on their opening possession, Dave.
Yeah, that's just what the doctor ordered on the road. Watch the penetration right here in the middle. Hand up. There's the block with the right hand. Got the big right mucker on it and deflected it off course. Pretty good penetration by the down lineman, allowing the jumper to get airborne and get his hand on it.
Cyclones have been able to block a few extra points already this season.
Right, that's the second extra point they've blocked. They've blocked the field goal, and they've blocked the punt for a touchdown. So that part of their kicking game has been strong. The real problem here has been kicking it straight.
Now the Aggies will kick it to Iowa State, and it'll be time for the Cyclones to try to answer. And a lovely night for football. In the Big 12 Conference as Iowa State faces Texas A&M.
Well, this is ideal. You can't ask for better weather. Mother Nature will play no part in the outcome of this one.
So Pegram will kick it off for the Aggies, and in his third year of starting for Texas A&M. Cyclones have two men deep back to receive, and we've got a penalty flag even before the kickoff here. Somebody walked across the 35 before the foot was put to the ball. Actually, a delay of game.
How do you let the play clock expire before you kick the football off? I can't say that I've seen that. A delay of game on a kickoff. And Coach Fran kind of bemused by it. he can't figure that one out either. He's trying to get an explanation on the sideline.
Lane Newman will be kicking it off for the Aggies. Beg your pardon.
I don't think I've ever seen a delay of game on a kickoff after a score. That's a first.
Maybe that's why one of their specialists were trying to walk up to that line of scrimmage in a hurry. It looked like he might have crossed before, but he was playing the play clock too, I guess.
Yeah, he probably saw it winding down. You're right.
So the Cyclones could get good field position out of it. It'll be Thais Thompson taking it from out beyond his 5. Thompson with some running room out to the 35-yard line, and that's where the Cyclone offense will take over. Roderick Newman makes the stop for the Aggies.
Well, you can see Thompson's got some skills. The first thing a good return guy has to do is make a decision, get north and south in a hurry. He gets great blocking, huge seam. Make one miss, pretty good effort right there. No wasted motion. Get up the field north and south.
Now Brett Meyer on it offense, threw for 149 yards and 2 touchdowns in his last game here at Jack Trice Stadium. That was against Northern Illinois. Stevie Hicks starting at tailback. He's the lone one in the backfield. Meyer looks to throw. Finds a receiver, and good catch made by the tight end Brett Kellogg. Take a look at the offensive starters for Iowa State.
Well, the big boys up front, a lot of pressure on them to protect the quarterback today, and it's got to be started there by Vanderson, and he's going to make all the calls and get the protection set. Aaron Brandt has to play well at tackle. Of course, Stevie Hicks is a big factor. Todd Blythe, 6'5" wide receiver, big play guy in the air.
2nd and 5 from the 40. Cyclones line up out of the eye. Meyer again to throw. Finds John Davis. He'll take it for the first down and more. Jonte Buell will make the stop for Texas A&M. Let's take a look at that Aggie defense.
The Aggies are big defensively. Long arms, big bodies. Mike Montgomery last week had 10 tackles. Nice job against Kansas State. He kind of leads the pack there. And Justin Warren doing a fine job in the middle at linebacker for Texas A&M. Byron Jones, 4.5 sacks, 4.5 tackles for loss. Big player out of the secondary.
But the Aggies, too, have really cranked it up in the secondary. They've got 8 interceptions already this year. That surpasses their 0-3 total of 06. Now they're flushing Meyer out of the pocket, and he'll run the sideline and pick up some favorable yardage as he takes it into the Aggie side of the 50.
tell you, a guy that really did a nice job. Meyer out of pocket, very athletic. But let's watch little Todd Miller, all 5'8" of him down here. Look at the little guy, sustaining the block on the perimeter. Number 5 in that red jersey. Sustain, let Meyer get extra yards to get out of bounds. Whenever there's a big run, usually a wide receiver has done something on the edge. Barney Cotton making an adjustment, getting Meyer out of pocket. No more sitting duck for 8 sacks.
2nd and 4 from the Aggie 46. Meyer runs play action. And he'll take off with it again. Gets the first down and more. Oh, Brett Meyer is just creating now for the Cyclones.
Exactly, BJ. You know, he said, McNeil, you're a good player, but you've inspired me. Whatever you do, I can do as well. Texas A&M brings 5. Nice block by the tight end at the top in protection, giving Meyer a running lane. Make somebody miss, get out of bounds. Meyer's a big-body kid, 6'3", very tall, strong in the pocket, can look over pressure. But when he gets on the edge, he's got the jackhammer feet as well. There's a fine talent right there at quarterback.
Redshirt freshman out of Atlantic, Iowa. 1st and 10 Cyclones at the 37 of Texas A&M. Now they'll give it to Hicks, and he'll be piled up right at the line of scrimmage. Renewal Green will make the stop for the Aggies.
I was mentioning about the Texas A&M defensive football team. The defensive ends, BJ, are as big as a lot of people's defensive tackles. 6'3", 6'4", 270 and larger. Their linebackers are built like people's defensive ends. They're 235 and 240. They're a big-bodied unit, this defensive unit. They've all got long arms. They've got a lot of leverage. They're playing very, very fine football in the last 3 weeks.
Right now they're ranked 3rd in rush defense in the Big 12. 2nd and 10 for the Cyclones at the Aggie 37. Meyer looks to throw again.
Oh,
almost picked off. I threw behind his intended receiver.
Yes, he did. And he had him available, too. Meyer put it behind that target. The crossing pattern, Meyer's got to lead him. Threw it behind him. He's trying to go to his playmaker. And there's nothing wrong with that, Todd Blythe. But I think Meyer maybe was expecting Blythe to settle down in his zone, and Blythe kept running. I think Blythe read one coverage, Meyer read another. They're on different pages, and you're fortunate when that happens that you don't turn it over.
Brings up 3rd and 10 for the Cyclones.
2 tight ends.
Meyer again to throw. And it goes incomplete. Tried to hit his tight end, and Brett Kellogg.
Now, they're not going to try a field goal because everybody knows they're 2 for 8, so you either punt or you go for it on 4th down. This is too long to go for it, so in comes Blankenship to try to play field position and pin A&M back inside the 10-yard line.
Blankenship had quite a day last week against Oklahoma State. In fact, he was named the Cyclone Special Teams MVP. Dropped 3 of 6 punts inside of Oklahoma State's 20-yard line.
That's strong. That's playing, make them go on the long field. That's what you want to try to get done as a punter.
A&M will send one man deep back to receive. Blankenship.
Ooh, a little too strong.
Yeah, might have punched it too hard with no wind here at Jack Trice Stadium. It'll go about 7 yards deep in the end zone, and the Aggie offense will get it 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line.
Iowa State's offense moved the football pretty well, though. It has to be encouraging to Coach Mack and his team.
The only show in the Southwest to bring you 1 hour of the best guests.
Is there any chance of you settling down and forking over the black book?
Up to the minute highlights.
It's Yow Pow! Word! But Timmy D says no deliveries on Sunday.
And exclusive interviews.
There was a rumor that you comb your hair with an egg beater. True?
It's only the one you let me.
1 hour, 1 show.
We don't stop.
Sports on Sunday on Fox Sports Net.
Totally NASCAR, the only source that puts the racing fan in tune with what's happening on and around the track. With expert analysis, racing insights, and the latest reports from the winner's circle, your all-access pass to everything that is NASCAR. Totally NASCAR, weeknights on FSN.
You want to win the fight?
Let's throw some punches.
There are 12 men with nothing in common but a dream.
Once I step between those ropes, I consider myself a warrior.
Now, Oscar De La Hoya will guide them as they compete for a shot at a real title fight. Exclusive to its new home, FSN. Real boxers, real punches, no actors.
Win, lose, or draw, this is it right here.
12 will start, but only one will become the next great champ. A 4-hour marathon starts tomorrow on FSN.
6-0 Texas A&M with the lead on Iowa State. Aggies get their second possession of the ball game here. And they're going to go with naked backfield with a shotgun formation with Reggie McNeil, who's been creating so far for the Aggies. He was pivotal, Dave, on that first drive.
You know, you're right, BJ. I mean, the guy can make things happen. Playmaker.
McNeil to throw. Has a man over the middle. Wow. And Jason Carter will run it up near midfield.
Talk about speed, acceleration, yards after catch. All that good stuff. And a key right there, BJ, is McNeil hitting him in stride. When he hits him in stride, now he's gone. He never had to slow down. And that is some quicks right there. Before Iowa State can recover to try to gang tackle, he's off to the races.
Yards a catch entering this game tonight, now improving on that. 1st and 10 right at midfield for the Aggies. It's time to go back to the near side of the field to find Terrence Thomas and get it inside of the Iowa State 50. It'll bring up 2nd down.
It was a tremendous reaction by Iowa State's defensive. Watch these guys recognize screen. Watch them recognize it. Watch them stop. Now look, retrace their steps. Oh, screen, get out there. And look at them start to pursue to make a play. That's preparation during the week. And look at the gang tackle. 6 or 7 Iowa State Cyclones around the football. They sniffed that screen out big time.
2nd and 6 from the 46 of Iowa State. That's Lewis deep in the backfield. He'll get the carry. Gain a couple as Eric Anderson makes the stop for the Cyclones.
Courtney Lewis had 3 rushing touchdowns last week against Kansas State. The guy we're looking at right there, Reggie McNeil, had a career-long 62-yard touchdown run. As we said in the open, Lewis is fast. Lewis is unreal. 10,500 meters in high school for McNeil, I should say.
Had 1,000 yards as a freshman, gaining even more. Had 271 entering this one tonight to Courtney Lewis. 3rd down for the Aggies. McNeil to throw. And it's caught. Terrence Murphy with the catch for the Aggies. It'll give Texas A&M another 1st and 10.
Moser just a little bit late, just a skosh late. I mean, he had pretty good read of the route, but McNeil throws a bullet over the linebacker in front of the safety. Moser just cannot quite get there. Very, very accurate throw by McNeil and had some RPMs on it. Boy, that gets through the car wash, stays dry.
Appropriately put. That was zinged.
It was, wasn't it?
I formation for the Aggies, 1st and 10 at the Iowa State 30, and now McNeil didn't like something. He's going to burn a timeout. 8:44 to go in the first quarter. Texas A&M leading it 6-0 and driving right now.
You know, there's a guy that's playing the offensive line for Texas A&M, Jamie Hightower, big number 75, and I'm talking big, 355 pounds big. And look, how do you get off that block? I mean, once he locks on you, it's like the Empire State Building leaning on you. Jamie missed all of last year. He had a very unusual virus, a very rare virus that cost him the 03 season. Still trying to work his way back into shape. He's admittedly playing heavier than he wants to at 355 pounds, but he is a heck of a player at about 325, 330. Very athletic guy. For him to be able to move around like he is and make the recovery that he has, I think is a tribute to his determination.
And he just adds to that lure of that Texas A&M offensive line, doesn't
Oh, man, that's a road grader right there. John Deere earth mover. I mean, he's going to move people around. McNeil is having all kinds of time. His offensive line, no sacks on McNeil. He hasn't been knocked down, hasn't been hit, hasn't been hurried. Very clean in the pocket. The only time he's been hit is when he's run the football.
In fact, he started out 0 for 2 for tonight, but 6 of 6 in his last few passes for 91 yards. 1st and 10 Aggies at the 30 of Iowa State. Will give to Lewis to attack and take it down to about the 25.
We're seeing a great example of A&M's balance, BJ. You know, they're throwing the ball, they're running the ball. They're balanced not only in yards, over 200 yards each per game, but in play selection. They try to go 50-50 in almost both categories and mixing it up. And the other thing that Texas A&M does so well, they've changed their formation. They script their first 16 plays. They've been in a different formation every single one, seeing the adjustments Iowa State's defense is making against it. Here we have 3 wides, now motioning.
2nd down and 5 for the Aggies. There's movement on the offensive line.
Yeah, I didn't get his money's worth either. If you're going to jump, hit somebody. That's a cardinal sin right there. You got to pump somebody if you're going to get penalized.
Of the offense. It's a 5-yard penalty.
Of Handgartner, the guilty party.
And of course, Handgartner. Here he is at the right tackle position. Up, count early. Now smack him.
Yeah, Brent Kirby was right across from him.
Yeah, you can tell that was confusion all the way. Never came off the line of scrimmage. Once he started moving, he said, "Oh, geez, I'm a counter early. Nobody else is moving, so I'm not going anywhere."
We'll move it back 5 yards. It'll bring up 2nd and 10 for Texas A&M.
Bunch right here. Watch the potential screen out of it.
McNeil looks to throw, going for the home run in the end zone, and overshoots his man incomplete.
Funny, they had the screen set up. They brought the back underneath that bunch formation where they're very successful with their screens. They had a 2-way go. Down the field, if it's there, throw it. If not, dump it back to the screen. You know, Coach Fran does a good job, and of course Les Koenig is his offensive coordinator, in designing more than one opportunity or option available to the quarterback. I mean, they do a fantastic job of giving more than one opportunity to make a play down the field. Spread them out here. Spread that field. 2 wides on each side.
Iowa State crowd trying to give their defense some help. McNeil will fire. Has a man there, but it's in traffic and it's picked off by Iowa State. Mosier gets another interception for the Cyclones. There is a penalty flag in the end zone, however.
Yeah, let's see what they're going to call offensive or defensive interference here. And this was a bad decision by McNeil. Threw the ball falling away from the line of scrimmage and could not transfer his weight and put much on the football. Oh, looks like the way the body language is, they may be offsetting the interception by Mosier with pass interference. McNeil threw into double coverage, and they're calling pass interference on Iowa State. It's not on Mosier, it's on the cornerback in the double coverage. McNeil threw into double coverage, falling away from the line of scrimmage off his back foot. So this turns into a 15-yard penalty against Iowa State instead of a takeaway. Big play.
Aggies will get a new set of downs with the penalty.
Pass interference on number 24 of the defense. It's a 15-yard penalty. And an
Ball against LaMarcus Hicks.
Unfortunate. The interception is made by Mosier. Watch McNeil falling away from the line of scrimmage, throws off his back foot. There's the interference. They're saying that it's Hobbs.
Yeah, they called it on Hicks,
but Hobbs is the one that had. And you know what? That's ticky tack. I think that's a non-call.
A&M once again back in the red zone. They'll give to Courtney Lewis. They'll gain a couple. It'll bring up 2nd down. Eric Anderson on the stop for Iowa State.
You know, the thing is, BJ, I saw Hobbs trying to turn around to find the ball. You know, if you're riding him and you're not changing his route, the course of his route, if you get your head turned to find the ball, you're okay. If you're just bodying the guy up and you're not trying to find the football, then it can be called. I thought that one was very dicey at best, and it gives Texas A&M a big red zone opportunity again.
2nd and 8, offset eye in the backfield for Texas A&M. They're at the Iowa State 13. McNeil with the play-action pass. Has his tight end. And it's a touchdown for the Aggies. Joey Thomas on the reception.
Boy, just a great opportunity. Little options here. Here's McNeil in space. Now, if you're an outside linebacker, you're in trouble. What do? You try to play McNeil. If you do, the tight end catches the football, splits the defense for a big touchdown. Nice throw, nice reception, good execution.
Thomas is 6'5", 243-pound freshman out of Austin. That's his 4th reception of the year, his 1st touchdown.
That penalty came back to be a huge factor, obviously, in that drive.
This time Pegram will get it to go through, and it's a 13-0 lead for Texas A&M with 6:44 to go in the opening quarter. You're watching college football here on FSN.
Going fishing this weekend? Then you've got to see this. It's the one show that has it all. Every week, host Barry Stokes brings you the latest information for the upcoming weekend. Plus, Barry has correspondents stationed around the Southwest that reveal those secret spots and seasonal tricks. And we're the only place to get current weather, lake conditions, and much more. Make this your first stop on the way outdoors. The Nissan Southwest Outdoors Report, Thursdays on FSN Southwest. FSN has your Texans football. First, we preview the big game with Texans kickoff. Then Sunday night, we review the day's action with Texans Wrap at 11. All from your official cable television home of the Houston Texans. FSN Southwest. If it's Texas high school football, it's on FSN. The only place for in-depth, comprehensive coverage from across the state. Craig Way joins Dana Larson to bring you High School Scoreboard live. Fridays at midnight, only on FSN Southwest.
Texas A&M with the lead on Iowa State. Cyclones, Dave, now have a hole they've got to dig themselves out of, and for Texas A&M, well, they're executing near perfection. 9-play, 80-yard drive right there, about 4:06.
And they mixed the run and pass up so well in those 9 plays, BJ. But of course, the huge play in that drive, pass interference, nullifying interception by Mosier. I mean, the drive was stopped. Mosier had a touchback for Iowa State instead of 6-0. 15-yard penalty, drive continues, finalizes with a touchdown pass to tight end Thomas, and Coach Mack not happy about it. And understandably so. You got to let them play. You know, you got to let them play football. I didn't see anything that was detrimental to the outcome of the play by Hobbs whatsoever.
So again, Lane Newman will kick it off for the Aggies.
Look at kickers. They have the pants rolled up above the kneecaps. Come on. I mean, you know, put some pads in your pants.
13-0 Texas A&M. Thompson will take it at his own 4. Tries to run back towards blocking, and he won't get to the 20-yard line. Good kick coverage by Texas A&M. As Lee Foliaki makes the tackle for the Aggies.
Well, Iowa State has to respond to the adversity. Because as you mentioned, BJ, you know, down 13-0, Texas threw the first punch. Now Iowa State has to counterpunch. And this drive is extremely important. And the fact that they're starting at their own 18-yard line is a tough beginning.
That Aggie defense back out of the field. Surprising number. They were 10th in the Big 12 Conference entering this game in total defense.
That is a surprise.
Brett Meyer will run the option. Here's Hicks, and he won't go anywhere.
Where did you see the pursuit? Look at all the white jerseys. I mean, there's like 7 or 8 white jerseys at the football. Texas A&M believes in the scheme. They're playing with so much confidence. There's no superstars on this A&M defensive football team, but there's no weaknesses either. Everybody is a good, solid football player playing their gap responsibilities, carrying out their assignments to the fullest. On first down, Texas A&M 9.4 yards per play. Iowa State 2.2 yards per play. That keeps you on schedule or gets you off schedule. Right now, Iowa State is off schedule on first down.
2nd and 10 out of the gun. Blythe had to go in and out. Incomplete. It'll bring up 3rd down for Iowa State.
That's a big factor. Iowa State 2.2 per play on first down. Now you're in a lot of 2nd and 3rd and longs. Texas A&M averaging almost a first down every first down play. That's a lot of 2nd and 3rd and shorts. And that makes things a lot easier to sustain drives for sure.
Meyer this year completing about 56% of his passes, as you just saw. 3rd and 10. Iowa State at their own 18-yard line.
12 men on the field for A&M.
Free play for Iowa State, and they'll make hay out of it. John Davis will take it up near the 39-yard line.
Let's see. 3, 6, 8, 10. No, there was only 11 men on the field. One ran off and made it only 10. Texas A&M played this down with only 10 men. That's why this play was made. Somebody ran off the field late for Texas A&M to the sideline. The officials didn't penalize it because he ran off the field incorrectly. He was the 11th man, not the 12th.
I know Carl Torbush, the defensive coordinator for A&M, can't be too happy about that.
No. A little bit of confusion with respect to the personnel package on the field.
Now the officials are conferring.
Yeah, that's the officials are. He's saying, look, did you count? How many men on the field? How many guys did you have? They only had 11 and ended up with 10. So now he's saying, there's the official saying 10 men on the field. There wasn't 11 with the 12th running off. There was 11, only 10 on that snap.
Iowa State will have it 1st and 10 from their own 39. And the Aggies, in case you're joining us late, scored on their first 2 drives of the football game. Cyclones will line up out of the eye. Here's Meyer to throw again. Goes to Blythe and has it go in and out of his hands, incomplete.
The fans want a penalty there. They felt that Blythe, he was run up his back by Brown. Thought that there was contact on Blythe before the arrival of the football. And they feel like, look, if you're going to call interference one way, call it the other. Meyer throws, is there contact? There's early contact before the ball's arrival. Texas A&M gets away with one. Blythe is there to make the play, but up the back comes Brown. Brown hits Blythe before the ball gets there. That's as much contact or more than the one that was called in the end zone, so a little inconsistent right there in the fans' eyes.
2nd and 10, and Meyer will take it himself on the quarterback draw. Gets up to midfield and more as he takes it down to the Aggie 45-yard line.
Out of the shotgun formation, it's a misnomer with these athletic quarterbacks to say it's a one-back set. It is a two-back set. In Meyer, it basically turns into like a lead draw because here comes his back. Watch his back. He's going to follow his back. And now his back's like the lead blocker for him, and he's the man toting the pig. So when you have an athletic quarterback, you can run ISOs, you can run quarterback counters, quarterback sweeps. It's great movement.
1st and 10, Iowa State. They'll give it to Stevie Hicks with some running room. Lee Faliaki will make the stop for Texas A&M.
Now they're starting to get some productivity on 1st down. There's a nice little smash right up the gut. Look, inside zone blocking. Everybody just kind of manned up on an area. And that's what we're talking about with a back that wants to just lower his pads and run people over. You know, that's the style for Stevie Hicks. Finish hard.
Picked up 9 on the play. Will bring up 2nd and 1. Look at the total yards here. A&M with 60 more yards than Iowa State, and Hicks will lean forward to get the 1st down.
You know, and the thing that doesn't show up is those hidden yards like that interference penalty.
Yeah.
Man, that's a monster. That's 15 yards. It doesn't show up in total offense, but huge factor in this football game. Tight end leading up, the outside linebacker, and pretty stout by Texas A&M at the point of attack. Everybody underneath the pads and standing Iowa State up a little bit. And that's what football is. It's pad level, DJ. Low man wins, you know. Get under the pads. It's hard to move people when you're underneath pads.
1st and 10, Cyclones at the 34 of A&M.
Blitz.
See if they back out of it.
They did. Came the other way.
Meyer will hit Blythe.
That's the kind of thing that Carl Torbush is going to try to do to confuse Meyer. He brought both his defensive backs up, one late. The one that came up late dropped out. And on this side, here comes the defensive back on this side blitzing. He gets cut down. Nice blocking on the perimeter. But Carl Torbush is going to mix it up. He's going to bring the house. And then other times he's going to drop everybody off into coverage and everything in between.
You know, Dave, Iowa State has thrown the ball 8 times, and you know, A&M has 15 sacks in the year. We haven't seen a whole lot of pressure just yet. Here's Hicks. So how has that Cyclone offensive line been holding up, do you think?
I think pretty well. You know, and a guy that's rebounded and responded pretty well, BJ, is Brandt, the big offensive tackle. You know, Aaron Brandt struggled last week, but right here he's taking it out on somebody. Right there, he's knocking people around. And look at Hicks make people miss. Miss tackle, dragged down ultimately by the second man. A good back will always make the first guy miss. That's what they're supposed to do. And they're good players too.
1st and 10, Iowa State at the 23 of A&M. Meyer will again give to Hicks. He'll try to bounce it to the outside. Jackson Appel on the tackle.
And Appel is just like another linebacker. Last year he played with a dislocated elbow. He played with a pin in his hand because he had 3 broken bones in his hand. Number 19 in that white jersey for Texas A&M is all football player, one tough hombre. And Iowa State's offensive line's coming off the line of scrimmage on this drive and controlling it. And they're doing a nice mix of run and pass as well, BJ, just like Texas A&M did earlier.
2nd and 4 from the 17. Again, Stevie Hicks. This time he won't go anywhere. In fact, lost yardage on the play.
I'm not sure why he bounced that one outside. The tight end went in motion, came back for the kickout block, and Hicks bounced outside of him. It would have been more prudent to cut up inside of that kickout block by the tight end, and maybe would have had some. But it's awfully easy to see it up here from the 50-yard line, the bird's eye view we have. And I'll be honest with you, I haven't run the ball since my freshman year in high school as a fullback. It's a long time ago, so I'm not going to be critical of running backs, I'll tell you that.
Gotcha. 3rd and 5 for Iowa State. They're at the 18-yard line of A&M. Cyclones have converted just 1 third down. Meyer will keep it himself. He'll get near the first down marker and more as he takes it near the 10-yard line.
Nice job by Iowa State. The option was available. He had a pitch man, a good relationship. Stevie Hicks was there for him to pitch the football, but Iowa State's offensive line caved in the side. Watch these guys cave it in. Look at the movement, hooking people and down the field. I mean, Meyer's not touched till he's 7 yards down the football field. That's securing the perimeter. Nice job by right guard, right tackle, tight end, coming off the line of scrimmage and sustaining blocks.
Cyclones inside of the red zone here. 6 of 13 entering this ball game tonight. Here's Stevie Hicks. Can't go anywhere.
Now what Iowa State has to do, BJ, is score a touchdown. Texas A&M has put 2 on the board. They missed an extra point. You can't trade field goal touchdown. You got to score a touchdown. Pound this into the end zone. Once again, look at the big boy, Aaron Brandt, pulling, trying to get out there. But he got caught up in the wash a little bit. You know what? That kid's an athlete, though. 6'7", 315 pounds. That's pretty darn good movement for a big body like that.
This will bring up 2nd and goal for Iowa State. They're at the 10-yard line of A&M. Meyer to throw for the end zone. Blythe is there, and he almost came up with a fantastic catch. Buell knocked it away at the last second.
Tried to go with the one-hand catch with the left hand. And Blythe, not only 6'5", but he's a high school high jumper. The high jump's 6'7". So he's got some hops in him as well. And get it up there, the old fade, left hand, Blythe, can't quite secure it. That's a pretty good job, though. Good adjustment to the football. Tried to make that one-handed snag. That's a pretty good throw by Meyer, too, giving Blythe an opportunity. Now here's a guy that's already got 6 touchdown catches. The single-season record is 8. In the first 4 games.
That's his first 4 games of his career. Here's Meyer again to the end zone for Blythe. This time, can't get it. Again, knocked away by Buell.
Well, it's B on B, Blythe on Buell. They keep going there.
You've got 6'5" going against 5'10" here.
Exactly, 7-inch differential. Nicely timed, though. Get the left hand in there. Not quite enough of a trajectory by Meyer. You got to get it up a little bit. Got to get it up back here. Back into the back corner of the end zone. You can't throw it short because that negates Blythe's advantage.
Now decision time for Iowa State, and they're going to go for a field goal here. Brian Jansen on to kick.
1 for 6, BJ, this range. 30 to 39 yards, 1 for 6. This one is less than that.
27 yards, and Jansen's kick is up and good.
It was a knuckleball. It was a Hoyt Wilhelm special, but it got through.
It did indeed, and that will cut A&M's lead down to 10. 13-3 with 36 seconds to go here in the opening quarter.
Boy, that is just a big sigh of relief for Coach Mack, for the kicker, the holder, the snapper. Wasn't pretty, but it goes in the scorebook as a made field goal. But still, that wasn't clean.
Well, you want to talk about pressure, though, on Brian Jansen. Walked on in August, came into the football program, and all of a sudden, hey, you're the starting kicker.
Yeah, that's a tough deal, and you're out there all by your lonesome. You can't hide. You're not one of 11 guys out there trying to make a defensive play, and if it doesn't work, who made the mistake? When it doesn't work, you know who made the mistake, particularly if there's a good snap and good hold like there was on that. There's 3 components, or actually 4. Good protection, Good snap, good hold, and then kick. Everything was excellent. Kick was questionable, but made it through. He kicked the top half of the football and still made it through.
See Terrence Murphy getting warmed up to try to return one here for the Aggies. One of the top return men in all of the Big 12, if not the country.
You're right, big-time playmaker. And I know that Les Koenig wanted to get him involved in the game early, get him the football early in terms of the passing attack, but Iowa State is doubling him, taking him out of it. And as a result, when you double an excellent receiver like him, somebody else has to step up. And Riley's the guy that has stepped up for Texas A&M. Riley's getting the single coverage. Riley's the one that's making plays.
See, Iowa State scoring drive, 16 plays, and they about 6 minutes off the clock. Jansen will put this one up in the air, and it'll be short. Carter will take it at his own 17. Finding some holes out there, up past the 35 and up near the 37-yard line.
16-play drive. Man, that's a lot of snaps against a good defense without making a big mistake.
A&M's getting used to it, though. I mean, last week against Kansas State, their defense was out on the field a lot, and their offense had some quick strikes for enough scoring.
Boy, right on. They only ran 43 plays, A&M did, Coach Fran, last week, and they had 42 points off those 43 plays. That is some serious production.
Now, Iowa State, Dave, getting some help, too, with their defense, finally getting some rest. I mean, some much-needed rest as they are back out onto the field once again.
And Iowa State exhibiting the balance, 55-45 for 100 yards. Good balance.
1st and 10 Aggies, and here's a big hole for Courtney Lewis as he takes it out beyond the 45-yard line.
Man, he can strike quickly, too. I tell you, Texas A&M has got some speed. They've always had athletic players with some speed and quickness, and that's a decision to get north and south and get everything you can out of it. He milked that for every last inch right there. No hesitation whatsoever.
Yards a game, and it looks like Texas A&M is going to allow the game clock to expire here in the first quarter as they do not have to run another play. And it's Reggie McNeil and Texas A&M leading it over Iowa State 13-3. They scored on their opening 2 possessions. You're watching college football here on FSN.
This is the Sports List
with Summer Sanders.
The show that counts down anything in the world of sports.
The most shocking upsets, the best sports heroes, the sexiest athletes, the biggest sports scandals, and much more. Hosted by Summer Sanders.
Every night, a new list.
Every night, the new argument. The Sports List, weeknights on FSN.
2 towns, 2 powers, 1 game. Odessa Permian meets its hated rival Midland Lee in a West Texas showdown.
This is the game!
It's one of the most storied rivalries in all of high school football. Permian Panthers, Lee Rebels. The Friday Night Lights are shining Thursday at 7:30 on FSN Southwest.
You met them. You loved them. You became addicted to their game. And now, they're back. One of the most acclaimed shows from England in its most controversial season ever.
Telling lies and sucking up to the rich and famous.
Who will come out on top?
I don't do what you want. You do what I want.
Oh,
bless you.
Dream Team, Season 4, only on Fox Sports World.
That's where I want it.
I was down there one time. They played.
Texas A&M with a 13-3 lead over Iowa State with Dave Lapham, BJ Shaven. Let's now go down to the sideline and be joined by Karen Schulte.
Thanks, BJ. Well, the Aggies are working on their 3rd drive of the game right now. Interestingly enough, they've scored on their first 2 of this contest. You have to go all the way back to the Baylor game a year ago when the last time that the Aggies were able to score, not only on their opening drive, but on the subsequent one, and that was a touchdown field goal situation. So Coach Fran right now very pleased with the offensive productivity of his team.
Has to be kind of happy with that play. Reggie McNeil making a good decision, just throwing it away.
That's right. It's 2nd and short, so you can reload. Don't make a mistake, because now it's 3rd and less than a yard. 2nd and less than a yard. If it's not there, don't force it.
3rd down for the Aggies. They're at the Iowa State 46-yard line. Need to get it to the 47. So see that just less than a half yard there.
Do they run behind the big fella Hightower? I don't know. They could run the strong side here. I think they're going to run it, though.
Run option to the near side. McNeil will keep it himself, and he'll be stopped and dropped for a loss. Brent Kirby on the tackle for Iowa State.
Boy, on third down and less than a yard to go east and west. And they paid for it. You know, I would have hammered it up in there. They come down the line of scrimmage. That's an athletic play. Got cut to the ground, jumps back up, and corrals McNeil. Watch him. He's on the ground. Now he's up. That's just an outstanding effort. I mean, that's just big-time athleticism by Kirby, who's very curvy, big guy.
Jacob Young now on to punt, and the Aggies among the best in punt coverage this year. In fact, they're only allowing their opponents to return the ball 1 yard on the return. Now you got one of the best in Iowa State history, returning for the Cyclones in Todd Miller. Young gets a good one off. Miller will fair catch it just ahead of his own 20-yard line.
Makes a fair catch on the 21-yard line.
And that's happened a bunch. You get a penalty flag on the play here. See what we have. Personal foul on Iowa State.
Not
Texas A&M.
Oh, Texas A&M.
No, wait a minute. They've reversed. This is the second quarter. They reversed field here. It's Iowa State. Who'd they call the personal foul on? It was after the punt. The punt was airborne. A personal foul was called.
Here's Cooper Castleberry.
After the play.
Now he's pointing the other way.
And an automatic first down.
Couldn't hear who it was on.
Coop will get it right, and now Iowa State has elected to have the football. They'll take it over. They'll get some decent field position, also have it out beyond their own 35-yard line, right at the 36.
Got a little bit of an equipment problem, helmet problem out there. It looked like Blythe was having a chin strap or a helmet problem as he went to the sideline.
Here's Meyer, looks to throw. He'll go down the field, and it's almost caught by John Davis, and now a penalty flag will come out. And this one looks to be going against Texas A&M.
Going against Byron Jones, and I think it's a good call because I thought that he ripped into the receiver before the football got there. Let's see if it is. Out of pocket once again, helping the offensive line in protection. And he did. He ripped at the. You can see him ripping at the receiver's shoulder before the football got there. Trying to make a play on the ball is Davis. And you can see that the left arm, Byron Jones' right hand ripped in there, the left arm, and turned his shoulder pads. So he's having a hard time making a play on the football.
Penalties on the night, A&M with 5, Iowa State with just 1 so far.
That was huge. That one penalty was the 15-yard penalty that nullified Mosier's interception and allowed A&M to score a touchdown. So even though they've only been penalized once, it was a monumental penalty and ticky-tack at best.
So the Cyclones will again have it on the Aggie side of the 50. They've been able to move the football tonight, haven't they?
Ooh.
Not that time as Meyer tripped up underneath his own center.
Yep, he got stepped on. The lineman stepped on his foot. That's like driving a nail through his big toe. Boom, anchor him, down you go. You have those big 300-pound men step on your feet, and your dogs are barking after that.
Watch this one again.
Yeah, look at the lineman. Whoop, there it is, step on the right foot. Oh, man, that's hard.
I think it was Vander Sand at the center who was trying to shift.
And the guard, too, that he was blocking down. All kinds of feet were pounding on Meyer's puppies there.
2nd and 14 now for Iowa State. Meyer again looks to throw. Pressure is on, and oh my gosh, he might have gotten away with one.
Yeah, those tip balls can be dangerous. When they deflect off the receiver and they're airborne, boy, you see the name Moses, makes you think of J.J. Moses, doesn't it?
Yeah, returning kicks for the Houston Texans. Now his brother, Milan, in an Iowa State uniform, wearing his brother's number, and his father, who also played here for Iowa State.
I tell you, that's what a great deal for the Moses family to have 2 sons and a dad, 2 generations at Iowa State. And J.J. Moses was phenomenal and doing a great job in the National Football League.
3rd and 14 now for Iowa State at their own 48. Meyer again to throw. Goes for the sideline and overshoots his man, John Davis.
That's a down and distance you don't want to be in. 3rd and 14 against Carl Torbush and the Texas A&M defensive football team. And Iowa State now is going to have to punt it away and try to play field position.
So Blankenship on to punt again for Iowa State.
Look at this, a swinging gate out of the punt formation. See if here they come. Texas A&M adjusted to it defensively, so now they line back up into a punt formation.
Blankenship gets off a decent punt. This one's going to roll inside of the 5-yard line and go out of bounds. Iowa State could not have asked for a better punt.
Boy, did that take a right-hand turn for Blankenship or what? I didn't even see a turn signal going on there. Man, that hit the turf and went right.
We'll take a look at it again when we come back.
The best in the Big 12 Conference is on Big 12 Showcase. On location, Showcase has highlights, exclusive features and interviews, and the latest from every sport in the Big 12. Saturdays on Fox Sports Net.
The ultimate fantasy football show. We know who's a stud and who's a dud. Avoid, avoid, avoid. Our experts will tell you everything you need to be a fantasy powerhouse. Ultimate Fantasy Football Show, Fridays on FSN. The Pac-10 tournament returns in March. An automatic bid to the Big Dance is on the line as the men's tourney returns to Staples Center, while the women do battle at HP Pavilion in San Jose. This is your chance to be a part of the madness. For tickets, log on to www.pac-10.org.
You love football? So do we. Fox Football Friday. Yay! This Friday, we go around the leagues to see what's hot and preview the top games for the weekend. You need to know? We'll tell you. Well, I tell you what, second is not good enough. Ooh, that's not nice. Previews, predictions, and much, much more right here on Fox Football Friday. Get over there and compete for a spot. Yes! This show does not work unless you get involved.
Fox Football Friday, only on Fox Sports World, America's soccer channel.
We're in great shape.
13-3, Texas A&M leading it over Iowa State. Let's take a look at the 49-yard punt here by Troy Blankenship.
Blankenship saying to the ball, look, when it hits at the 3 or 4 yard line, dogleg, go right. Get out of bounds, go right. And that's a coachable football right there.
A lot of body language might have been able to somehow telepathically connected with that football. First and 10 Aggies deep inside of their own territory. And here's Courtney Lewis. He'll be upended.
I think you got a hold on the edge there. I think they're going to call Texas A&M for holding on the perimeter at the conclusion of that run. And that's the call. You know, the Texas A&M wide receivers are thick. You know, they're thick-bodied guys. They can really run, but because they're so thick and strong, they block well as well. But this time, up top of the screen, that's where the penalty is. As he's working his way down the football field, right there is the hold, the conclusion of it. You saw the release and holding on the edge there was Mobley, the wide receiver.
So it'll be first down and 8 for the Aggies. Get the ball at their own 5-yard line. Lewis, the deep tailback, he'll get the call. Takes it up near the 9-yard line. Dobbins on the tackle for Iowa State.
This Iowa State defensive football team does fly around. They do pursue the football. I mean, they like to gang tackle. You know, they don't want their teammate out there on an island like Gilligan. They bring Marianne, the professor, the skipper too. They all get there, you know, and try to get involved.
And as a team, much more better at putting pressure on their opponent. They have 35 tackles for loss entering this football game. They've already amassed 10 sacks on the season.
Yeah, that's true. And you look at last year, I mean, they only had 14 sacks on the season last year.
2nd and 4 for the Aggies at the 10. They'll give to Lewis. They'll get near the first down marker and a little more. as Paris will make the tackle for Iowa State.
What Texas A&M does so well, BJ, is they spread the field and they vacate. That makes Iowa State vacate the box. And it's easier for the offensive line to block when it's spread out and it's vacated. But here they did a pretty good job. They brought both linebackers up inside, and they brought them both. But, boy, that's washing it right there. I mean, that's collapsing things. Then the unblocked safety makes the play. They try to spread you out. Here they are. Look, box vacated. There's only 5 in the box right now because of the 3 wides. Easy to block.
And we've got a penalty flag down. It looks like it's delay of game, yeah.
Got to look at that play clock.
5 yards, and it's still first down.
So that was a first down play. They went to the shotgun, spread the field, and eliminated people from the box. That makes life a lot easier for an offensive lineman because you don't have to count, okay, there's 7 guys, 8 guys. Is he a safety? Is he a linebacker in this? How do we account for him? What's our protection? Coach Fran tries to make it as easy as he possibly can mentally for his O-line. Same thing. Now there's 5 in the box again.
First and 15 this time. McNeil's going to take off with it. And we've got more penalty flags down.
I think they're saying he's down. I think
down.
Wow. Down. When he slipped, they're saying his knee hit the ground. He put that left hand down, but the official blew him dead. The linesman did. Remember, in college football, once that knee touches, you're down. And he's saying that. That's a bad call.
Yeah.
Totally missed it. Blew it dead. Said his left knee was down. He wasn't close. Tell you what, it's been a rough night for the Zebras.
Cyclones, the benefactor of that one, and nearest Iowa State player is going to get a huge tackle for loss there. There's been A&M inside of their own 5-yard line at the 4, facing a 2nd and 21.
McNeil couldn't believe it when he called him down. He was incredulous. Like, are you serious?
But he was asking, where's the flag? As play was stopped. McNeil pressures on. He'll elude tacklers. Wow. And he'll find a wide-open teammate, Jason Carter, who takes it out beyond the 25-yard line.
Just an incredible effort by a very, very gifted athlete. You know, you make the first guy miss. Look at that. Bring the cornerback off the edge. He's there. McNeil, spin away from another one. That is just improvisational abilities there. Now rolling to his left, throws a strike. I mean, he should have been potentially sacked for a safety, maybe the 1-yard line, and because of an individual athletic ability, they have the ball at the 32-yard line, drive alive.
McNeil came into the football game 2nd in the Big 12 in total offense, averaging about 289 yards a game. First and 10 Aggies at the 26. They'll hit to the near side as they find Terrence Murphy and the 6'1", 189-pound senior from Tyler taking ahead for a few yards. It'll bring up 2nd down, about 4 yards to go.
Well, that's frustrating if you're a defensive coordinator, John Skladany, because you have the right defense called, it's executed well, but the only thing you can't account for is the athletic ability of the guy in the center. And we talked about it in the open. When he creates plays, sometimes the plays he creates are better than the ones that are called.
2nd and 4. It's time to roll out with a flanker screen. Here's Murphy. Look out. Jamar Buchanan will make the tackle for Iowa State as Murphy will take it ahead for the first down as he's up to the 46.
Terrence Thomas with an unbelievable block. It's a wide receiver screen. And watch Thomas, number 3, make the block right there for his teammate. I mean, that's big time. Look at Thomas sustain it and take him out of bounds. And that's just one wide receiver helping his cohort, his compatriot. And that wide receiver screen package is a big, big plus for Texas A&M all season.
First and 10 Aggies, again with a 10-point lead. Scored on their first 2 possessions of the football game. They'll throw over the middle and they find Boone Stuntz. The big tight end will have another first down for the Aggies as he's inside of the Iowa State 45-yard line.
You know, we've been showing you how Texas A&M is all spread out. That time they went 2 tight ends. And watch the 2 tight ends. Boone released down the middle, the 2 tight ends, and then you talk about threading the needle. I mean, 2 tight ends. There's Boone and Boone releases. There he is in the middle. That's a tight window to throw the football. 3 Iowa State defenders in the vicinity, and he got it in that tight window.
First and 10 Aggies, and we've got movement on the offensive line.
Yeah, that's the big left guard, De La Garza. He's got a black belt in jiu-jitsu, so I'm not going to say anything bad about him.
5-yard penalty, and it's the first down.
What's jiu-jitsu? He's got a black belt in it. What is that? I know it's a martial art of some form.
I don't know, but if he's that big,
yeah,
how many enemies do you have that you need to learn jiu-jitsu?
Jiu-jitsu sounds like a food to me, more than a martial art. I don't know. It sounds like a noodle or something, but I'll tell you what, the guy's a good player. He's a physical guy up front. Watch the screen. Bunch over here. Bunch formation.
1st and 15. They'll run option. Now they'll go to the inside with a little shuffle pass as A&M will have it inside of the 40 as the Cyclones defended that well. That was Urban Taylor on the carry.
We saw that earlier, remember, in the red zone. You have an option guy in a perfect relationship. Here's his pitch man, and there's the shovel pass. The pitch is defended, goes inside of the shovel pass. That's beautiful for a quarterback to have. He can keep it, he can pitch on the option, and then a third option, shovel pass for big yards. That's well conceived there.
2nd and 8 for the Aggies at the Iowa State 40. They'll throw it again. This time they'll find Murphy. He'll try to dance his way through traffic, and Mosier will put him to the turf.
Nice block on the edge once again by Terrence Thomas. And that's the wide receiver screen package we were talking about earlier. You know, it's a controlled passing game. It's almost like a long lateral, BJ.
Yeah.
I mean, this is so controlled. And there you see, watch, there's a block. Down the football field, try to get something done. That's good effort right there. And helping a teammate out. Pretty good inside-out pursuit by Iowa State. Decent recognition of it.
3rd down for the Aggies. McNeil, you see his numbers on the night. Pretty efficient.
Boy, is he. Look at him spreading them out here. There's another receiver way down here, off screen.
McNeil to throw, and he'll have his man and a 1st down as Carter will take it inside of the 25, down near the 21-yard line. Huge pickup on the play for the Aggies as they'll move the sticks again.
There's no question that Texas A&M, by personnel group and formation, makes you defend the whole field because they'll attack it. I mean, they just spread you out, and they get the ball out of the quarterback's hands very quickly to those big, thick wide receivers and let them do something after a catch. Like I said earlier, it's almost like the West Coast offense. 7-yard pass and do something after you catch the football. Controlled passing game horizontally.
Now they'll go with the 2 tight ends as they'll send it out of the backfield. McNeil will give it to Lewis, and he's got a huge hole. Courtney Lewis inside of the 5, down near the 2.
Man.
DeAndre Jackson making the touchdown-saving tackle for Iowa State.
Iowa State, I think, underestimated the speed factor here. Let's watch the offensive line come off double team here. Who's going to rub to the linebacker? There it is. Now he's off to the races. No safety. Safety was in the box. Missed tackle at the safety position. Well, that's just nice execution by the guys up front to get it started, and just a talented running back once he gets past the line of scrimmage.
Look out for number 25 here on 1st and goal. He's got 17 career rushing touchdowns, 5 already on the year. McNeil will run the option, and he'll keep it himself and a walk into the end zone. Touchdown, Aggies.
Not a fingernail laid on him. He scores in touch football. Nobody touched him. He went through the back of the end zone. Nobody touched him.
Texas A&M will extend their lead to 16.
Little reverse pivot, midline option, nice up front, and he can scoot. He's got some quicks.
Made that look pretty easy.
Sure did, didn't he? And it starts once again with the offensive line. The Red Sea parted for McNeil there because of the big boy doing the job up front.
McNeil doing it as well in the air, 7 of his last 7. Throwing for 80 yards.
Consummate dual threat.
Here's the extra point. And the Aggies get it to go through. And Texas A&M extends their lead to 17. You're watching college football here on FSN.
You're watching FSN Southwest, the only sports network that puts Southwest fans first. The Southwest Sports Report.
You're passionate about sports.
A complete nightly newscast. We'll take you behind the scenes for exclusive interviews and in-depth stories.
You've come to the right place.
The Southwest Sports Report, nightly at 10.
Where Southwest fans know first. FSN Southwest. Now, there's a place where college never ends. Fox College Sports, the new network that brings you nearly 150 games from conferences like the Pac-10, Big 12, and more. plus local coaches shows and news from around the country. This is the network college football fans always dreamed of. To order Fox College Sports, call 1-877-2-GET-FCS.
Aggies extend to their largest lead at 17. Let's go down to the sideline now with Karen Schulte.
Thanks, BJ. Terrence Murphy, number 5, the wide receiver for Texas A&M. As soon as that score was made, he came over to the sideline, and immediately trainers began working, just massaging his right shoulder. Coach Fran just came over and looked at him and said, "You okay?" And Fran said, Murphy said, "Absolutely, I'm good to go." And with that, he got up and walked off. So maybe just a little soreness in that right shoulder right now.
Thank you very much, Karen. Well, Terrence Murphy, a player that had a big decision to make this spring, didn't he? To go to the NFL or to come back, because he was projected to go in top 2 rounds as a receiver, but he came back to A&M.
He did, and the reason he came back, he said he didn't want to leave after going 4-8. He wanted to be part of the solution to the problem and not leave when there was a problem. And now it looks like the way they're playing that he made a good decision. But boy, that's a kid that when he talks to his teammates now, they listen, because he passed up on some bucks to come back and play.
Well, that A&M offense certainly is humming right now.
Oh, it's very creative, and they're executing so well. It's on 8 cylinders right now, and they're all cranking.
Instead of 5:49 to play here in the first half. And Iowa State will take it out from their own end zone. It's Thais Thompson. He'll find a little seam. And more to the 35-yard line. Make it the 36.
Thais Thompson missed a couple of days of practice this week of family illness. And I'll tell you what, he's forgotten all about it. Just look at him get up the football field and get after it. He had a fumble on his very first NCAA carry last week. Seems to have shaken that off.
Iowa State now going with a different quarterback. Austin Flynn will be in the football game now. 6'1", 185-pound sophomore out of Deer Park, Texas.
He's got a big C on his chest for competitor. You know, he's a spark plug kind of guy. That's what he is.
Cyclones will line up out of the shotgun. Jason Scales also into the contest. They'll run option. Now they come back to the near side on the little reverse to John Davis, and he'll get the first down and a little more. Zappel makes the tackle for Texas A&M. Little trickery.
Yeah.
Little chicanery.
Trickeration. A little prestidigitation right there by Flynn. Just watch him. Hides the ball on the play action fake. Now he just pitches it back. Receiver coming in motion. Little reverse off the fake dive. Good blocking on the perimeter. Nice job by Flynn from a ball handling standpoint. Nice execution by Iowa State. I mean, Barney Cotton's got some trickeration in his playbook as well.
1st and 10, Iowa State at their own 48.
They coming? Nope. One did.
And Flynn will be forced out of the pocket, tried to sidearm the ball ahead, and he did complete it to Brett Kellogg.
Little backward pass, little unbelievable action right there. It's a forward pass. He just flicked it backhanded. And it's just a little fake again. Get out in the pocket. Now he's being pressured. Okay, I'm just going to flip it backhanded down the field. That's totally within the rules. And he basically, instead of a 5-yard loss, gets a 1.5-yard gain out of it.
Looks like Austin Flynn's been watching Brett Favre.
Exactly.
2nd and 8. Flynn to pass. Pressure's on. He'll get rid of it and finds John Davis. And he'll make the catch, they say. And that was right in front of the A&M bench.
Well, he caught it more than once because he juggled that bad boy, didn't he? As he come up with it. And A&M has a blitz called. They're bringing safety. They're bringing corner. They're bringing everybody. Catch. Oh, did he catch it before it hit the ground? He's saying, yeah. The official's right there. Coach can't believe it. Coach collapsed. But saying that he caught it before the tip of the ball hit the turf.
3rd and 2 for Iowa State. The run option. Flynn's going to have to eat it. And almost lost it. But he did lose a chunk of yardage all the way back to the 49-yard line.
Boy, 3rd and 2. To take that kind of a loss. Texas A&M really, really aggressive. Look at the disruption, the penetration. Defensive lineman in the face of Flynn. And that's just getting beaten at the line of scrimmage. Texas A&M decided to just one gap penetrate, disrupted it, blew the play up.
Cyclones will be forced to punt it away. Pressure with Flynn in the ball game, as you might have not have saw with Meyer.
That's a good point.
So Blankenship will let it rip. And a penalty flag down as...
Well, there's no halo rule, but you still can't interfere with his opportunity to catch the football. The fact that he caught it told me he didn't interfere with his opportunity to catch it. You eat it. You don't throw the flag. I mean, it didn't bounce through his hands. There's no halo rule anymore. He stops, and he allows him to catch the football, and the official that threw it is back this way. He had a poor angle on it. And he's looking through his body, and he thinks he's right on top of him. You pick those flags up. You don't even bother throwing it. He gave him a free vision, clear vision to catch the ball, and then corralled him. I don't know why you penalize him.
It's Eric Mays making the catch, and Ryan Baum, the guilty party.
Catch the kick on the kicking team. Penalty is 15 yards from the foul.
That's a tough 15-yarder right there. Man, Coach Mack can't believe it. I mean, his cover guy pulled up, said, man, I don't know. Yeah, the official's saying he's too close, but the angle, he was looking through the body. If you're standing behind him, it's much different than if you're looking across at a 45-slash angle. I think that's what the problem was.
So it'll be 1st and 10 A&M, and now we've got officials timeout. In fact, the penalty flag is thrown on that far sideline.
Are they getting they're getting the bench.
Iowa State, first warning.
They're telling them to get back off the field. It's only a warning. They're not going to be penalized, but Coach Mack's saying get back 5 yards, get out of that white area, move it back. Look at this bunch formation here, BJ. What are they going to do out of this look? They've done the option shovel pass quite a few times.
This time they'll give it straight ahead to Lewis. Gain a few, it'll bring up 2nd down. Now Aggies trying to work on the clock a little bit, you'd think.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think they're going to try to melt it, drip some seconds and minutes off the clock. They've got themselves a comfortable 17-point lead on the road. Remember, Coach Fran has not won a road game yet as a head coach at Texas A&M. So getting off to a fast start is just what the doctor ordered for the Aggies.
2nd and 7. This time they'll line up out of the shotgun. McNeil will look to throw over the middle, has his man, but over his intended target.
Riley, a little tall, huh?
Yep. Kendrick Riley on the man he was trying to throw to, and it'll bring up 3rd down for the Aggies.
That's not an upset stomach that McNeil's got. He's wearing a big flak jacket, and it kind of looks like he's swayed back and looks like he's got a belly on him. That's protecting his ribs. This big flak jacket right there, that's protecting his ribs. Flak jacket up here under the shoulder pads and making sure that he doesn't take a shot in that rib cage that debilitates him a little bit.
3rd and 7. McNeil will throw it incomplete.
It's really high there, and he got knocked on his back for the first time, I think.
Well, that was Robertson putting the pressure on for Iowa State. He needs that flak jacket, doesn't he?
He does. He does. He's been protected well tonight, but here as he steps up into the pocket, he gets kissed, and it's not the friendly kiss. It's one of those that want to thump you a little bit. McNeil's been hit twice and hurried 4 times.
It's Brandon Brown on the hit, and A&M will punt it away again with Jacob Young.
You're right, Brown put that helmet right in the flak jacket, didn't he?
X marks the spot, right?
Here it comes for the rush. Oh, they're going to call running into the kicker. It's going to be a 5-yard penalty, not 15. So it'll still be 4th down. I think Texas A&M still might punt it. I don't think it's 15. I don't think it's roughing. I think it's just running into. But Hobbs came off of his defensive position on the kill guy and tried to come off the edge and block it, and he ran into the punter. I don't think it's 15 yards roughing.
Cooper Castleberry will make the call here.
Running into the kicker on the kicking team. It's a 5-yard penalty that's declined. 1st down.
Yeah, A&M had pinned Iowa State inside of the 15 at the 14. So that'll bring us to another timeout on the field. 3 minutes to go in the first half. A&M with a 17-point advantage.
This weekend on Fox NFL Sunday. The always opinionated, always outrageous Terrell Owens is live in studio with the guys. Then, Warner and the rejuvenated Giants face a crucial showdown with their hated rival. But Testaverde and the Cowboys are ready to slug it out in this classic NFC grudge match. It's a Fox NFL Sunday doubleheader this weekend presented in HD.
On Fox Sports World, we import only the finest Argentine beef. Grade A certified. Bien Argentino. Argentine soccer, only on Fox Sports World, America's soccer channel.
A&M leading at 20-3 with about 3 minutes, in fact 3 minutes to go here in the first half. Aggies been able to score when they've had to. I mean, their offense has looked pretty good so far, Dave, and Iowa State's offense has moved the ball but just not consistently enough.
Yeah, I think the difference in the game so far, BJ, is that Texas A&M has finished drives better than Iowa State. Iowa State between the 20s has been pretty effective, but they haven't finished and put points on the board. Texas A&M has taken advantage of the red zone, scored touchdowns, and that's the big difference in this game.
After a drive, Brett Meyer now back in at quarterback for Flynn. So that rotation begins for Iowa State.
Is that about the normal timing, about that stage of the second quarter where they make that move at quarterback?
I think so.
In earlier games, yeah.
Or usually at the end of the first quarter, from what we've been told. Here's Meyer. He's going to look to air it out, but he'll throw to the near sideline. Davis will make the catch, and he'll get the first down and more as they take it near the 28-yard line. And other thing, too, Coach McCarney said entering the football game that Brett Meyer is their 2-minute quarterback. Even though we're inside of 3 minutes to go in the first half, Iowa State maybe feeling a little urgency.
Well, I can see why he would be, because he's 6'3", stands in the pocket, very tall, can look over the pressure. But Barney Cotton's made a nice adjustment. He's rolling them, he's doing bootlegs, getting them out of pocket, changing the launch point so Texas A&M can't zero in on him, and he's been able to get the football off more readily, not getting sacked.
On first down, here comes the blitz.
Wow.
And Meyer will just escape.
He's got some upside potential. This kid's got some athletic ability now. He's shifty. You know, for such a tall, long body, he has got to change the direction to him. He's the prototype. Now, in college football these days, they beat you with their feet and their arm both, just like McNeil with A&M.
Cyclones with 3 timeouts to go here in the first half. A&M will blitz again. Here's Moses, and he'll get out of bounds. Short of the first down marker.
Right on, BJ. Carl Torbush brought 6 that time. 6 guys and dropped 5 into coverage. So the first 2 snaps of this 2-minute drill, he's heated it up. Let's see if he changes it. He's going with an odd look in the defensive line, too, putting a nose guard in the center, only 3 down linemen, but he's blitzing linebackers and nickel defensive backs, the extra men out in the field for multiple receiver sets. See, only 3 down linemen. Let's see how many of these guys he brings. And here they come. He brings 5.
Meyer will throw over the middle. Moses has the catch and the first down. So the clock will stop with 1:57 to go in the first half.
And this is the chess match. Carl Torbush, the defensive coordinator, trying to confuse Meyer, not give him the same look 2 times in a row. So when he's in pocket, he might think he sees something, but he really doesn't, kind of like an apparition.
Meyer on first down. Comes back to the near sideline, and Moses will make the catch, and again will get out of bounds to stop the clock. 1:45 to go here in the first half.
The other thing that Texas A&M is doing is the guys that are in coverage, they're dropping deep and making a throw underneath and then coming up and making a play, tackling them. There's not many yards after catch for Iowa State. That's been a big difference in the first half. A&M has generated more yards after catch. They're up 54 yards in that category, 79-25. My former teammate right there, the offensive coordinator, Big Barney Cotton.
Guys played at Cincinnati?
Exactly, Cincinnati together.
Here's Meyer to throw. Pressure's on, and throw it away. Closest man there was Todd Miller.
You know, you got to like a guy like Todd Miller. I mean, there's a kid, 5'8", 175 pounds. Everybody's always told him he's too little to play. And all he does is go out and play. And his motivator was J.J. Moses. He watched J.J. Moses play, who was no bigger than a minute, but it's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog. And Miller's a good example of it. That's a little dog that fights hard.
Third down for the Cyclones and 7. Ball at their own 43. Meyer rolling out. He's going to be pressured, and he won't be able to get rid of the football, and that's sack number 16 on the year for the Texas A&M Aggies as Lee Faliaki comes up with a tackle for loss for the A&M Aggies.
And Justin Warren puts the pressure on him to contain him, got to throw it away. You're out of pocket, throw it away. There's Justin Warren, gets the big left meat hook on him, then he gets help from the teammates. That's pretty good athletic ability for a linebacker in space to be able to keep up with Meyer like that. That is very, very good effort.
Now A&M will burn a timeout here.
Yeah, because they're going to get the ball back, and they want as much time as possible. There's 1 minute and 26 seconds to go. They'll only have one timeout remaining.
Aggies with a 17-point lead. It's been a good night for Reggie McNeil. 14 of 20, 184 yards passing, along with 2 touchdowns that he's thrown. Long was of 30 yards. And also he's ran for a score as well.
Yeah, he's a producer. We talked about his dual threat. He can beat you with both the throwing arm and those jackhammer feet, and he's done it. And the thing about a 2-minute drill in college football, it's easier to execute because every first down the clock stops when the chains move. In the NFL, you have to burn timeouts or spike it. Here in college football, you generate a first down, you have time to get to the line of scrimmage without losing yourself clock.
A&M will be left with just one timeout here in the first half as Blankenship is on to punt again for Iowa State. Aggies send back Eric Mays deep back to receive. No pressure. Blankenship will really get into this one. Mays will take it at his own 25, and he's tackled in a hurry by Ellis Hobbs.
Again, starting cornerback on kickoff coverage, on punt coverage. You got to have your best players in those situations. That's how important special teams are. Nice job by Hobbs. No interference with the opportunity to catch there. That's just a heat-seeking missile closing on the return guy after receiving the football. It's a good effort by Hobbs.
So 1:17 to go here in the first half, and that A&M offense will march back out onto the field.
NFL love the fact that a lot of college coaches play starters on special teams because they can project them how well they'll play on special teams if they don't start in the NFL. It gives them another way to cross-check guys physically in space.
McNeil, the only one in the backfield. As the Aggies will look to throw. Pressure's on, McNeil will run out of it, and he'll fire downfield, and it'll be incomplete.
You know, a different approach taken by John Skladany here, and there's Big John, the defensive coordinator. He said with McNeil, I'm only going to rush 3 and drop 8. And there's a zone blitz. Defensive lineman drops into coverage. 3 come. 8 guys down the field. Everybody playing zone. No window to throw the football. Hobbs makes a deflection. Hobbs covers the punt. Hobbs deflects the ball. Hobbs sells popcorn. Hobbs does it all. Natural. Right?
Exactly. The senior co-captain who are making some good efforts out there for Iowa State. McNeil will try to take it himself in the quarterback draw. And we'll see the clock wind inside of a minute right now. Actually, a timeout taken to Iowa State.
Yeah, Iowa State had 3 timeouts to burn. They took their first because they got an opportunity 3rd and long here to get the ball back again for a little less than a 1-minute drill.
Now, you think so obviously they're doing that to maybe get the football back, and that'll be forced back to A&M. So kind of a chess match at the end of the first half here by both of these coaches.
John Skladany, you see him standing. He's a big guy. Look, he's a head above all his defensive players. He looks like a power forward in the NBA, like head and shoulders above everybody. But he has done a great job coordinating this defense. You know, Iowa State is down by 17 points, but it's not because of lack of effort. It's because you have athletes like McNeil that creates plays. I mean, the defense, there's been proper calls, guys in position to make plays, but you have a guy that's a level above you in terms of athletic ability, his ability to make you miss and running that 10-500 meters. It's hard to draw a defense up on a guy like that. You know, and you put a spy on him.
Yeah.
The deal is, if you spy him and your spy doesn't take him to the ground, you're in trouble. What good's the spy if you can't tackle him? McNeil creates problems for you. How do you match up with a quarterback like him? Fran loves it.
Trying to draw something up here is Texas A&M, and
Now, this may be one out of the deep bag of tricks of Coach Fran, this 3rd and 10. We may see something real funky here. 2 receivers on each side of the field, spreading Iowa State out.
That's Lewis in the backfield with him. And here come the Cyclones on the blitz. McNeil fires over the middle, and it's knocked away, incomplete.
Interesting. So you saw Coach Glenani. He went with a 3-man rush, dropped one of his down linemen out in the zone blitz, and then he comes with pressure. So here's the blood cross. 2 inside linebackers crisscrossing, sorting things out. Picked up well by Texas A&M. That's just good pass coverage. Contact simultaneous with the arrival of the football. No penalty. Closing on the ball. It goes airborne. That's just timed very, very well there.
And the clock stopped with 56 seconds to go in the first half.
Now does Iowa State come after it? Are they going to try to block it?
Here they come. Jacob Young just will get it away. He went to the turf, no flag, and Todd Miller will fair catch it at the 39.
Tried to get that Academy Award.
Yeah.
But the Academy said no. No Oscar.
Please don't reserve a table, right?
That's right.
1st and 10 Iowa State, and here come the Cyclones offense back onto the field. And you'd have to think that they'd have to go with the no-huddle offense here with 50 seconds. 2 timeouts remaining, though, here in the first half.
And again, every first down the clock stops. So, they have plenty of time. Time's not the issue, execution is. I mean, if they can get it, they don't have to get huge chunks. They have to start getting the ball down the field a little bit, though.
Cyclones held to a field goal so far here in the first half. And now a timeout taken by Texas A&M.
They had problems again. They had 12 men on the field, or they thought they did. One ran off. I think that only left 10. That happened to them earlier in the game. They're having some personnel package substitution problems. Carl Torbush, right here in the middle of his troops, isn't happy about that, having to burn a timeout right there.
Lots of activity earlier in the day in college football in the Big 12 Conference. We'll get you updated on that coming up here at the half. Right now a 20-3 lead for A&M over Iowa State. A&M scoring on their first 2 possessions of the ball game. And for Iowa State, they're able to get a field goal by Brian Jansen from 27 yards.
Coach Mack talking things over right now with the officials. And the play that the drive they had the field goal on, it was a 16-play drive, but they were backed up. They had to go long field against A&M's defense. When you go 16 plays and only settle for a field goal, that's like root canal surgery. I mean, that's too hard. You have to get a big play in there and get a chunk of yardage so you can score a touchdown instead of just settling for a field goal. A&M's defense is tough to go long field against like that.
We've heard of the traditions at Texas A&M. They're well documented. And here at Iowa State University, I was listening to someone earlier today. They call it mass camp kneeling, and that happened, of course, last night. Plus, they had a ton of homecoming activities here today. Now the homecoming crowd wanting to see something happen here offensively, and Myers trying to do the trick. Wow, he took a hard shot late.
The whistle blew, and he got popped. And he's hurt. He's slow to get up.
On that, let's take a look at this again, and maybe if we can run some sound on this, because he really took a shot after the whistle. Let's see.
Yeah, he did. Let's see if we can hear it.
Homecoming crowd wanting to see something happen here offensively.
Oh, there it is. That's the hit to the head after the whistle, and that's a long-distance phone call now. The phone's ringing. Nobody's picking it up. Right there is the last hit, and that's helmet to helmet, and that one should have been flagged. The whistle blew, and a helmet-to-helmet shot. Myers trying to determine if he's in College Station or Ames right now. Where am I? When down goes Frazier. I mean, he took a hit.
25 seconds, or inside of 25 seconds to go here in the half. Now Austin Flynn, and this is where the 2-quarterback system could help Iowa State. Flynn will get out of bounds. That'll stop the clock with 17 seconds to go in the first half. Did he get out just ahead of the marker?
That's a great point you made there, BJ. The fact that Flynn has taken a lot of snaps. Iowa State looks at that as a quarterback competition and not a controversy. Both guys are capable players. One gets his bell rung, in comes the other one. You don't really miss much. I mean, a lot of coaches would like to have that luxury of 2 guys that can pull the trigger like that.
Now with 17 seconds to go in the first half, Iowa State faced with a 3rd and 1. He did not get the first down as he stepped out of bounds just before the 49-yard line. Iowa State at their own 48. Flynn to throw, has Terrence Highsmith on the reception. He'll get the first down and more as he steps out of bounds at the 45-yard line of A&M.
That time Carl Torbush brought 5 and dropped 6 into coverage. So, I mean, it's interesting the chess match is going on between offensive and defensive coordinators here with the play selection and the pressure packages and the coverages. Is it zone? Is it man? Is it man under? Is it a combo zone? One side of the field, man the other. Who's blitzing? I mean, for quarterbacks, for Barney Cotton's quarterback, it's like rush hour, but instead of stationary traffic, it's 60-mile-an-hour traffic. It's real confusing out there.
Cyclones with 2 timeouts left as Flynn will work. Now we're inside of 10 to go in the half. Flynn will fire deep, has a man, and no catch. The official waved him. Davis was the man that was trying to haul that one in.
Let's see, only rushed 3 and dropped 8. Texas A&M, 4 guys blocking 2. Steps up in the pocket, does Flynn. He throws it as far as he can. Oh, he's good call. Right foot out, left foot out. You got to get at least 1 in. Good call. Flynn just took him a little bit too far to bounce. The official right on top of it.
Probably time for one more play here for Iowa State with 5 seconds to go in the half.
They say a game of inches. That was inches right there, wasn't it? Almost a beautifully executed play. 3 receivers up top here. The ISO one down low.
A&M only rushing 3. Flynn's going to heave it towards the end zone, and this one is going to be knocked incomplete, and that will end the first half. So Iowa State down by 17. A&M looking sharp offensively here so far in the first half. And here comes the Aggie band out onto the field, but it's been the Aggie offense that's really been causing a lot of problems for Iowa State tonight, and sure A&M has to like the way things are going right now.
Yeah, and the conductor of that A&M offensive orchestra is Reggie Enzo without being touched, basically. So you can see he can throw it. He can beat you with his arm and his feet. Here, Iowa State trying to go to their big play receiver on the fade and couldn't quite get it done. Went that way multiple times to Blythe, but could not quite corral the football.
Well, I think for the second half, I mean, does the game plan stay the same then for Iowa State? Keep an eye on number 1?
I think so. You know, you have to take McNeil out of the mix, but Courtney Lewis balanced it up very well. He averaged over 7 yards a carry, or around 7 yards a carry in the first half. So, but the first thing you have to do is take that straw that's stirring the drink for A&M and take it out of the glass. You have to eliminate McNeil at the quarterback position. Easier said than done.
Now, how about the Aggies trying to get their first road win under Coach Fran? What do they have to do?
Well, I think they just have to stay the course. You know, they've got a guy that can hurt Iowa State a couple of different ways. McNeil throwing the football and running the football. Ball security, again, no turnovers for either team in the first half. That's got to change for Iowa State. Texas A&M, if they hold on to the football and take care of business with a 17-point lead, it's going to be tough for Iowa State to come back. Texas A&M has to self-destruct a little bit and give Iowa State more opportunities, more possessions to mount a comeback.
Well, the second half just about ready to get underway, and for the Aggies, you know, this is a pretty big game for them. And to get a road win in the Big 12 is so precious, isn't it?
There's no question about it. I mean, it's tough to win on the road anywhere in college football. And the big thing that Texas A&M did that was a positive, they got off to a good start and had the fans sitting on their hands a little bit. I mean, it got quiet. And that's the one thing you want to do as a football player, go into an opposing stadium and make the crowd quiet. Then you know you're getting some things done. And Iowa State, they played hard. I mean, it wasn't that Iowa State played poorly. It's that Texas A&M just played a little bit better, made more plays than Iowa State did in that first half.
Certainly did. And, you know, for the Cyclones, they've got the ball to begin the second half, and it's a pretty important possession for them, isn't it?
No question, BJ. They have to do something and really, in a perfect football world, score a touchdown. I mean, if they have to eat into this 17-point lead quickly because the number of possessions you have are now limited. That's one thing that Texas A&M might try to do. Run the football, melt the clock a little bit, play ball control. We'll see how it all unfolds.
Let's go down to hear from Karen Schulte, who's joined by Iowa State head coach Dan McCarney.
Max, some costly penalties for you guys in the first half.
Well, we did, you know, and the other thing defensively, we had some, we didn't do a good job initially. From a coverage standpoint, they really got good speed on offense, as you can see, Karen. We've got to get some turnovers second half. The last couple series of the half on defense was real good. We got to get back to that. And offensively, we got to make plays. We're moving the ball at times. We got to make some more plays. and finish drives, get in the end zone.
What's the status of Brett Meyer and Todd Blythe?
Todd Blythe's ready to go. Brett Meyer, they're going to recheck and let me know in the next 10 minutes.
All right, Coach. Good luck.
Thanks
to
a
you
lot.
in the second half.
Appreciate it.
All right, we'll continue to watch Todd Blythe. He was effective in that one particular series when they went twice to him in a row in that corner of the end zone, and then he was not in that last particular series, so we'll watch both him and Meyer.
All right, thank you very much, Karen, as Iowa State and A&M just about ready to hit the field for the second half.
There's a future quarterback right there. So he's got that tongue working, doesn't he? Overtime. He's working that thing.
Well, for Texas A&M, they're going to try to close it out here against Iowa State, as we mentioned, getting that first road victory under Coach Fran in his 2 years here at Iowa State. And for the Cyclones, well, do they have another comeback left in them? They came from 14 down against Northern Illinois. Now the margin right now it's 17. So we'll see what happens as we're just about ready to get the second half underway. See A&M trying to stretch things out as...
Oh, man, is that flexibility there? Are you kidding me? That's some flexible hips right there.
That's Keith Joseph, the fullback for A&M, and he's laid some holes out there for Reggie McNeil and Courtney Lewis here tonight.
To be young and flexible again. Man.
Now, were you that flexible?
You know what? In my younger years, incredibly I was, but now I have a hard time getting out of bed most mornings. You know, that lower back and the neck's a little stiff. Your back and your neck is like a shock absorber. There's only so many hits in it, and I think I exceeded them. I don't know. I got my neck shortened a few times. I know that.
A&M will be kicking it off here in the second half to get things underway, and it will be Lane Newman doing the kicking chores here for the A&M Aggies. Deep back to receive, Ellis Hobbs and Thais Thompson.
And speaking of big hits, let's see if Meyer does trot out in the field to lead the pack at quarterback. I don't think he starts the second half. I'd be surprised. I think Flynn does, but it'll be interesting to see if Meyer can come back and play at all. He got his head scrambled a little bit.
Took quite a shot, and Newman will put this one in the back of the end zone. And Iowa State will start at 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line.
Iowa State takes over first.
There's Blythe, so there's number one right there, a big play guy. Let's see who's going to unfold at the quarterback position, and it's the Flynn man.
So Austin Flynn in, and some fans might not like the two-quarterback system, but this is the added benefit for it. You see Flynn, his first half numbers, 3 of 5 for 15 yards.
You're right. In Big 12 play, to get through an entire season healthy with one quarterback is a challenge. Look at that. Bunch of guys at the line of scrimmage.
Iowa State will run with a lone tailback. Play action pass. Flynn looks to throw. He has Stevie Hicks open, and it's picked off by the Aggies. It's Mike Montgomery, and he's running like a running back. Look out, Montgomery will take it inside of the 20 and down to the 16-yard line.
That's the first turnover of the game, and Texas A&M comes up with it. They're plus 11 on the season now. 12 takeaways, only 1 giveaway on the season. This is a zone blitz. This is a defensive lineman. Montgomery drops out into coverage. A throwback pass. Flynn floats it. Floats the ball out there a little bit. Montgomery, a defensive lineman, dropping back into coverage, makes an athletic play. An incredible effort. Now this is thrown from the right hash mark back to the left sideline. And he floated it up there. Didn't put enough air under it. But that's just a tremendous effort by a down lineman, a defensive end. And he reversed responsibilities with the linebacker. Linebacker blitzed, he went into coverage.
9th interception of the year for the Aggies, and Texas A&M will pound it right at Iowa State with Courtney Lewis.
And Iowa State couldn't think of a worse thing to happen. Texas A&M couldn't think of a better thing to happen. Give their offense a short field. And this is a flashback to last week for Iowa State. They gave the ball to Oklahoma State 4 times via turnover by fumble inside on the short field with the Iowa State defense back up against the wall.
Aggies will line up out of the eye, 2nd and 6 from the 13. They'll send Joseph in motion. They'll give it to Lewis. And look out, Courtney Lewis will find Pater. A penalty flag down as Lewis crossed the goal line.
They're going to call a hold on a wide receiver that took Hobbs down to the ground. Blocking on the perimeter. It's going to nullify. It's going to come back. The penalty will take place at the 1 or 2 yard line. Hobbs was pushed to the turf. It's going to nullify the touchdown.
Watch Courtney and Lewis shifting, and it will come right here at the end of the play.
Right there. Hobbs is pushed in the back. You just saw the blur to the right of the screen. Hobbs is pushed in the back, and it nullifies the touchdown run. Penalty was occurred at the 2-yard line, so now it's 2nd and 10, or 2nd and 5, I should say, at the 12-yard line.
A&M again showing different formations offensively here tonight. The Cyclones trying to match up to it. This time more of a base offense for the Aggies, where they come in with 2 tight ends.
And one's as a wingback.
They're going to throw it out in the flat. Lewis will make the catch. He's inside of the 5, and this time he'll score. 3rd touchdown of the night thrown by Reggie McNeil.
Uncharacteristic, sloppy tackling by Iowa State in the open field in space that time. 2 dove at his feet. A little swing pass, little off the option fake. There's 1 miss, 2 missed tackles. Iowa State on the season has done a fantastic job out in space making one-on-one tackles. That time, Brandon Brown couldn't get it done, and also his teammate, DeAndre Jackson.
Pegram on to add the extra point. And you see officials' timeout now, as the referee, Cooper Castleberry.
Texas A&M showing the signs of a very good football team. Opportunity presents itself, capitalize immediately, go right for the jugular. This is a different football team than the one that lost to Utah in the season opener. They are way, way much improved.
And the extra point goes through.
The kick is good.
So the Aggies strike first here in the second half.
There's nothing like high school football. Unfortunately, each year, catastrophic spinal cord injuries occur. Gridiron Heroes was formed to help these players and their families by providing resources and support. This year, top collegiate and professional coaches are participating in the 2004 Coaches Challenge. Visit gridironheroes.org to discover how you can help your favorite coach score. Together, we can form a new team, a team who makes a difference.
This is the Sports List
with Summer Sanders.
The show that counts down anything in the world of sports.
The most shocking upsets, the best sports heroes, the sexiest athletes, the biggest sports scandals, and much more. Hosted by Summer Sanders.
Every night, a new list.
Every night, a new argument. The Sports List, weeknights on FSN. Fifth Gear. Incredible experiments. Unreal discoveries.
It's almost scary.
Testing the limits of performance.
Do not panic.
Fifth Gear cracks the car show mold wide open. From the super exotic to the super destructive urban assault vehicle. Fifth Gear boldly goes where others don't dare. Cool. Get into Fifth Gear Monday nights exclusively on Speed Channel.
Texas A&M with a 24-point lead on Iowa State. Let's go to Karen Schulte.
Obviously, you never want to turn the ball over, but you especially don't want to put the Aggies within the 20-yard line because they are now 13 of 13 on scoring when they have red zone opportunities. It goes all the way back to the Wyoming game. They have had 13 in a row scoring with inside the 20.
And a lot of them touchdowns, Karen, not settling for field goals. They're pounding the ball in the end zone, and that's just phenomenal execution in the old red zone.
Aggies will kick it off again. As Lane Newman will put his foot into it. It'll drive Iowa State about 3 yards deep in their end zone as Thais Thompson will go down to a knee. So the Cyclones will have it back again, 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line, and Coach Dan McCarney looking for something now offensively.
To get back to Karen's point, those last 13 opportunities in the red zone, 11 touchdowns. 11 out of 13 scores and only settling for field goal twice. 4 for 4 in the red zone tonight, touchdown, missed extra point. But that is just finishing drives, and that's the sign of a great football team or a good football team trying to be great. Texas A&M is making monumental strides in that area.
Austin Flynn in at quarterback. Again, Brett Meyer left the first half after getting maybe a concussion is what we've been told, and Austin Flynn gets the start at the second half with the interception. He's still in there as the Cyclones will stay on the ground with Stevie Hicks.
And really, the hit that he took, as we heard on replay, was after the whistle, and there wasn't even a penalty on it. I mean, he got his head scrambled after the whistle.
2nd and 7 after the 3-yard gain. And Flynn will roll out. He'll keep it himself and the turf.
Flynn runs right for
Archie
Iowa State.
McDaniel with the tackle for the Aggies.
Number 31, Archie
You can
McDaniel.
see how Texas A&M can close to the football. Nobody gets cut to the ground. Nobody gets cut in half. Everybody's on their feet and running and pursuing. And there you have two guys, a little high-low shot, gang tackler, linebacker, safety. Pretty good execution by the defense. Carl Torbush has to be excited with the level of play he's getting out of his defensive unit in the last month.
Cyclones will line up out of the I, 3rd and 7. Ball at their own 23, need to go to the 30. They'll run the draw with Hicks. He'll scat free and find some running room. Hicks with the first down and more up near the 44. Pickup of nearly 19 yards.
Hicks slow to get up, but it looks like he's okay. They caught Texas A&M. Iowa State caught Texas A&M in a double blood cross. Look at the linebackers. Both blitz, blood cross, the line picks it up. Now there's no linebacker at the next level once he breaks the line of scrimmage. He's out to the secondary because the linebackers blitzed, and they were picked up by the offensive line. That's why that draw play broke so well. Good call against the blitz.
1st and 10, Iowa State at their own 44. Flynn to throw. He'll find Kellogg in the open field, and the tight end will take it inside of the 45-yard line of A&M.
K-E-double-L, old double good right there. Kellogg doing a pretty good job catching the football and making something happen after the reception, moving the chains. Flynn drops down a little bit. He's got a little bit of that sidearm delivery, but he does throw a very catchable football. But with his height at 6'1" and where he delivers it from, I'm sure he's had a problem with balls being tipped. Got to get him out of pocket.
Flynn will now roll out to his left. Setting up, pressure, now will run back to the middle. And he'll just throw this one away.
Boy, dangerous there. If you end up in the tackle, in the box between the tight ends, now it's up to the referee. Was it throwing it away to avoid a sack? He wasn't there. There was a receiver in the vicinity. With good coverage by Texas A&M. Nowhere for Flynn to go. He's wearing that big old flak jacket too. Flynn's not that thick.
Yeah, they list him right at 185 pounds.
That flak jacket makes him look closer to 205.
bigger target.
That's right. But the way, and you saw Meyer get smacked, the way the defense hits those quarterbacks, you got to protect them.
2nd and 10 now. Flynn will fire it to the far sideline, and this one is caught by James Wright.
Flynn was upset. He hit his helmet with both hands because if he had thrown the ball where Wright could have stayed upright, he could have gotten yards after catch. The ball not thrown accurately enough for Wright to stay on his feet. And instead of a 2-yard completion, it could have been about close to a first down completion. He had yards to gain after catch as Barney Cotton checks it out. 3rd and 8 is a horse of a different color, play calling wise.
Iowa State will need to take it to the A&M 33 to pick up the first. Out of the shotgun.
They're going to come? Nope, walking out. Rush 4, drop 7.
Flynn over the middle, and no one home.
Looked like Flynn was expecting his receiver to take it up the football field, and Blythe hooked up. Blythe settled down into the zone, and Flynn read it differently. Flynn thought he was going to take it to the end zone.
Number 24.
On different pages, not only on different pages, on different volumes of the encyclopedia.
Let's take a look at this one again as Austin had some time.
He did. And he says, oh man, I thought you were going to take it to the end zone, Mr. Blythe.
Now Blankenship on to punt again for Iowa State. Cyclones facing a 4th and 9. Try to kick this one towards the middle and it'll roll into the end zone. So the Aggies will get it at their own 20-yard line, up by 24. And Reggie McNeil and company back out onto the field for the Aggies. And Well, A&M's defense, I don't think it's talked about enough, but they've been helped out a little bit. But I think for the most part of the football game here tonight, Dave, they've put out a stellar effort.
I agree with you, BJ. You know, over the last 3.5 games here now, they've been very consistent. They've tackled exceptionally well. As I said earlier, there's no superstars, but there's no weakness on that defensive unit. They really, really believe in the system. They're playing fine football. No assignment errors or visible assignment errors for Carl Torbush. The offense on the sideline right now for Iowa State trying to figure it out, trying to solve things.
See Brett Meyer sitting on the bench for Iowa State. Here's McNeil to work. He'll take it up to the 25 as Brandon Brown will make the tackle for Iowa State. Aggies on quite a roll, winning 3 straight entering this game tonight. You mentioned their defensive play. I mean, they shut out Wyoming, handled Clemson, or held them to just 6 points, and boy, they did a number on Kansas State, especially on Sproles, the outstanding running back for the Wildcats.
They really did. They hit him in his own backfield multiple times. They made him cough the football up a few times, too. They separated him from the ball.
2nd and 5 for the Aggies. McNeil will give it off to Lewis, and he'll gain 3 or 4 as he'll take it ahead as Tyson Smith will make the stop for Iowa State.
Now here you have a 24-point lead. You got a big offensive line, young but very big, very fine offensive line. You're in the huddle saying to them, okay, guys, we're going to run it, and we're going to melt the clock, and we're going to limit Iowa State's possession opportunities to come back in this football game. So now's the time when you start to pound it. They ran it on 1st and 2nd down, 3rd and short. Perfect time for play-action pass for Coach Fran, 2 tight ends.
Lone tailback is Lewis. And they'll give it to him. He'll get stood up and then will be dragged across the 32.
Tick, tick.
And that clock continues to tick. You know, for A&M's offense this year, too, time of possession hasn't been a big deal, but now it kind of turns into one for them as they try to learn how to work the clock or milk the clock.
Exactly, and the clock stopped for the first down chains the chains to move on the 1st down. Here it goes again. You can see it melting away right here, ticking away. See how many plays and how much time they're going to take off the clock in this drive.
Lewis with 80 yards rushing. Here's McNeil running the option. He'll keep it himself, and he'll be snowed under. Brandon Brown will make the tackle for Iowa State.
Yeah, that was well defended. Mosier in the vicinity as well. Everybody had their option responsibilities taken care of. Quarterback was engulfed. Pitchman nowhere to go with the pitch. Brown finishes. Mosier there as well. Nice job. Inside-out pursuit was outstanding for Iowa State.
2nd down, 11 yards to go for the Aggies.
Another new formation. 3 up here, tight end left.
They'll run it out of the gun, and they'll give it off to Lewis. Trying to weave his way through traffic, gets up to the 35-yard line. As DeAndre Jackson and company make the tackle.
You know what Texas A&M is trying to get done, and they do such an outstanding job of it. Offensive coordinator Les Koenig and head coach Dennis Franchione, I mean, they just try to form an element of doubt in the defense. Okay, what is the personnel package? Then motion and window dressing, adjustments. And if the defense makes one mistake, they're out-leveraged. Look at this one. There we go with the bunch. And a little flex tight end.
3rd and 8. They'll run Jackson out of motion, and they'll throw his way. He'll make the catch and more. He'll go inside of the 50 and down to the 38-yard line of Iowa State.
And you saw the mistake was made. Carter comes out of there all by his lonesome. Here he comes in motion. There's Carter. They have the bunch going already over there, and just a little bit of a pick play, totally legal, and gets the speed mismatch. And he's off to the races. Well conceived, well designed, well executed.
McNeil now with 222 yards throwing on the night. Again, he has 3 touchdowns. 1st and 10 Aggies at the 38 of Iowa State. McNeil dropping back to throw. Now he'll take off with it. Now he looks to throw. He's going to dump it to the sideline, and he just threw it away. What a decision by Reggie McNeil.
Absolutely. He's done that a couple of times, BJ. You pointed it out very well both times. Sometimes the best play you make is not forcing it. And the blitz prevents him from running the option, and it's an option pass. He was trying to throw back option pass. You know who did a good job? His offensive line not leaking downfield. That took so long to develop. They really showed poise by not having an ineligible receiver down the football field and nullifying that to make it 10 yards worse field position. Good job by the boys up front.
Well, McNeil kind of reminds you of a point guard on the basketball court, doesn't he? I mean, just directing traffic, and also the way that he's play faking out there as well. They'll get it 2nd and 10. They'll run option. They'll pitch it out to Lewis. He'll gain a few as he's pushed out of bounds by Brandon Brown.
Well, in McNeil, you've got a guy that's a battle-tested quarterback for sure. There's no, and the team senses his commitment. I mean, McNeil has developed. He's been in the program for a while. It's important to him, and his teammates are gravitating toward him. There's no question. This guy, McNeil, right here, is the guy that everybody looks to. He is the leader of the pack. He's got presence in the huddle, at the line of scrimmage, and in the pocket.
Another 3rd down for McNeil and company. 3rd and 8.
Wow.
They'll throw a little screen and almost picked off. Tyson Smith got his hand on it to knock it away.
If he didn't, it was going big for Texas A&M because Iowa State came on a blitz. The blitz is coming. Look at them all. And they throw the screen to that side. And look at they got 3 blockers on 2 down there. If Tyson Smith doesn't get a hand on that thing, that could have popped for a big game. A perfect call into the blitz. Draw or screen. They ran the screen, and Tyson Smith saved the day.
A&M chewed a lot of clock off on that drive as well, so they got something out of it with this big lead, and now the Aggies are going to go for it on 4th down.
A lot of confidence in your defense to make this call.
Opponents are 0 for 4 and 4th down against Iowa State, but not, well, this time as it's knocked away. Terrific play by Ellis Hobbs on the ball.
Riley stretching out to try to make a play, and Ellis Hobbs with a violent rake. Protection pretty good. They picked the blitzing linebackers up. Boy, Ellis Hobbs just great contact as Riley stretched out. The ball thrown a little bit behind him. McNeil wasn't quite as accurate as he needed to be there.
Riley was on the intended target on that reception, so the Cyclones get the football back when we come back.
2 towns, 2 powers, 1 game. Odessa Permian meets its hated rival Midland Lee in a West Texas showdown.
This is the game!
It's one of the most storied rivalries in all of high school football. Permian Panthers, Lee Rebels. The Friday night lights are shining Thursday at 7:30 on FSN Southwest.
The Pac-10 tournament returns in March. An automatic bid to the Big Dance is on the line as the men's tourney returns to Staples Center, while the women do battle at HP Pavilion in San Jose. This is your chance to be a part of the madness. For tickets, log on to www.pac-10.org.
27-3, Texas A&M with the lead on Iowa State. A&M just turned it over on downs. The Cyclones were trying to call timeout that last play. Ellis Hobbs was actually trying to do it, but hey, Cyclones, it worked out for them with Hobbs knocking the ball away.
Yeah, Hobbs trying to call timeout because Riley was uncovered in the slot, and Hobbs couldn't get a defender over there quickly enough. He was going to call timeout. So he knew that McNeil knew that Riley was open, so he came off of his coverage and put the hit on Riley. If McNeil threw it more accurately, though, it could have been a big play. Nice job by Corey up here. Good eyes seeing things up in the booth. Pointing that out to us as Hobbs was trying to call timeout up there at the top of the field.
1st and 10, Iowa State at their own 36-yard line. Out of the gun, they'll give it to Hicks. And the sophomore running back will take it up near the 39-yard line, so he'll gain a couple. And it will bring up 2nd down.
Now, this is a time where you have to make a decision as a coach. Do you stay with your game plan, Barney Cotton, and try to stay balanced, or down 24 points, do you have to throw it? And Meyer trying to make sure that all the cobwebs are out of his head right now. You know, you take a hit like he did, you don't bounce back super quickly.
Now Flynn will go underneath center. That's Blythe in motion. That play blew up on Austin Flynn and Iowa State. Maybe took it ahead for a yard. It'll bring up 3rd down.
Tremendous penetration up front by Texas A&M's defensive line took the option out of the picture.
Chris Harrington makes the tackle for the Aggies. He was the one that got through in a hurry. So a third down situation again for Iowa State. 3rd and 6 at their own 40.
See if Texas A&M brings anybody from this level. They got 3 down linemen. Who else they bringing?
Flynn will take it on the quarterback draw, and he'll get up to the 45-yard line near the 46. And we'll see where they mark him down.
Well, if this is short, 4th and a skosh, is it 4-down territory? I think so. When you're down 24, you almost have to with 5 minutes and 53 seconds to go. Little ISO. 2 backs again. They lead for the quarterback. They try to outman the defense by a helmet in there. Immaterial. First down change. Nice design though. Both backs end up like a double ISO for Flynn. And basically what you try to do is get the defense outnumbered. More people at the point of attack than they have, and that's what Iowa State was able to accomplish.
Cyclones will go with the 2 wideouts towards the top of your screen. On first down, Flynn will give it to Hicks, and he'll take it ahead inside of the 50 of A&M, about the 46-yard line. Stephen Hodge will make the stop for the Aggies.
Hicks is running hard tonight. You know, we said that he's not a make-you-miss, change of direction, cutesy guy. He lowers his shoulder pads and tries to give you a little hitting surface and run you over.
2nd down, 2 yards to go. And Flynn will run the option. He will keep it himself on the fake pitch to Scales, and he'll get the first down and more to the 35.
He had Jackson Appel between the rock and the hard place. And Jackson Appel was the one that he had on the string, and Flynn faked the pitch, and Appel had to take the pitch, man, and Flynn turned it up. Watch out here, watch number 19. Here he comes. Oh, have to take the pitch, man. Nope, I'm not giving it to him. Nice job by Flynn right there with a little ball fake.
So Iowa State on the move here on this drive. 1st and 10 at the 35 of A&M. Hicks, the lone tailback. There's a toss sweep. And Hicks will take it inside of the 30. And Stevie Hicks is starting to pick up some big yards on this drive.
Yeah, he's running the ball pretty effectively, and the offensive line doing a pretty good job. And Aaron Grant, the big right tackle, pulled from that right tackle position and get out in space pretty well. I tell you, for a big guy, he does have some change of direction to him. He can fit on those bodies. They don't fake him out in space. A lot of times it's an 18-wheeler against a Ferrari out there, and he finds a way to get his body on people.
2nd down, they call it, 2 yards to go. Cyclones need to get it to the 25 to pick up another first down. Flynn will roll out. Now will take off, and as he makes a spin move, he'll pick up the first down as he takes it to about the 23.
Now that was a big down lineman. I think it was Mike Montgomery who had the interception earlier that he spun away from, but it's a naked bootleg. All the run fake goes to one side. He comes out the other way with a personal protector. Now he's going to start pump faking, and whoop, there it is, down lineman in space. That's a mismatch. A quick little quarterback spinning right away.
Flynn, you see, 7 rushes, 20 yards so far on the night. Cyclones, as a team, have 123 yards on the ground. Here's the give to Hicks, and he'll pound his way inside of the 20.
This is what Texas A&M did on an earlier drive in the first half, though. Finally, Iowa State is in the red zone. How many plays did it take to get here? When they went on a 16-play drive, they had to go a long field and had to settle for the field goal. There was no big play chunks. And that Texas A&M makes you work hard and earn everything they did. They're doing a good job of keeping people in front of them, not getting beaten over the top of the big play.
2nd and 8, Iowa State. With the fullback in there, they line up out of the eye. It's Ryan Cook. Here's the draw play to Hicks. They'll run through traffic and be upended and down right at the 14-yard line. Good play made by Eric Mays.
The philosophy on this thing is Make the defense run multiple plays, and Hicks does a good job here. Good vision. That's pretty good tackling in open field, though. Nice job. And there's a good example of it. It looked like it was going to break for bigger yards than it did. Texas A&M, just the more plays you make an offense run, the more chance they're going to make a mistake. And that's Texas A&M's whole philosophy here. Bend but don't break at its finest.
That was Eric Mays slowly walking off the field. He might have got his bell rung on that tackle.
A&M running around trying to adjust here.
Here's Stevie Hicks. He'll find some yards as he takes it near the 11.
Boy, the spot the linesman gave him wasn't very favorable, moving the ball back a little bit. If this is not a first down, I think Coach Mack goes for it. You're down 24. You don't want to settle for field goals here. Take a look at the offensive line. Nice push, and Stevie Hicks bounces it back. The knee was down. Where was the football? The linesman moved him back a little bit.
Yep, they gave him the first down, though, at the 12. Iowa State still can pick up a first down as they try to work their way closer to that goal line. 1st and 10 at the 12-yard line of A&M.
They may exceed that 16-play drive they had in the first half.
There's a toss sweep here to the near side, and it's Hicks. Get inside of the 10 and ushered out of bounds.
Nice job once again by Aaron Brandt, the big right tackle. You see him right there walking next to Stevie Hicks. He pulled from his right tackle position and get out in front as a lead blocker. Pretty good job in space by the big fella, 6'7", 315 pounds.
There's some hitting still going on there. I mean, this is a Big 12 game after all. We saw a couple players go out, their bells rung. Earlier in the game, Brett Meyer on the bench for Iowa State. Austin Flynn engineering this drive right now.
That's the one thing about a Coach Mack team. They never quit. You can never, ever question the effort. They try hard every snap.
2nd down, 5 yards to go. Flynn will throw it. He's going to air it out for Blythe in the end zone, and Blythe can't get a handle on it. It goes incomplete. It'll bring up 3rd down.
That was a better throw, though. Went to we were saying earlier on the fades that he threw in the first half, threw it a little short. He took him to the back corner of the end zone here and allowing Blythe to try to use a little push off of that right hand. Well, that one I think he's going to want. That one, when he takes a look at it, it's like, if I get 2 hands on it with my athletic ability, I got to catch it. And he got both hands up and both hands near the football. I'm sure Blythe, when he reviews the tape tomorrow, is going to say, that one should have been mine.
3rd and 5 for Iowa State, a wide out to each side. And Flynn will throw it again. This time he'll go towards the sideline, and looks like his receiver cut off the route.
Yeah, I think Flynn was expecting him to do a little pivot move, I agree with you, to the sideline, and his receiver just kind of hooked up on him.
And here comes the field goal unit onto the field for Iowa State. That was John Davis, the intended target.
And I think Flynn was expecting him to hook and then kind of pivot to the sideline.
So it'll be a 24-yard field goal attempt here for Iowa State. Down by 24 with 1:27 to go in the 3rd. Still plenty of time to go in this football game, but we'll see what happens here with Jansen.
Right hash marks, a tough kick. And the play clock expired. You know, I think they did that intentionally, give him a better angle. This is a pretty severe angle from the right hash mark. This lessens it a little bit.
So the young freshman who's had his woes kicking this year, put out there to try to get some points on the board for Iowa State.
Still, this is a 29-yard field goal. They're 1 for 6 inside of from 30 to 39. They made a shorter field goal in the first half. Let's see if he can convert this one.
Has a long of 41 on the year. Chris Love will hold the kick down, and Love's going to keep it. He's going to throw it to the flats, and it's knocked away as Iowa State tried to go with a fake field goal.
Well, you know, they tried everything they could to make Texas A&M think they're going to kick the ball. They took the delay of game, trying to improve the angle, and they had something, but Love just could not complete the pass.
We'll have more in a moment.
Once and for all, the greatest is about to leave his mark. It's the Poker Superstars Invitational. For the first time in history, the
8 greatest players gather to finally answer the question, who is the world's best poker player? No amateurs, no jokers, no mercy. Learn from the masters. The Poker Superstars Invitational. Sunday, only on FSN.
Discover what lies behind the mystique of Mojo Magic. It's a revealing look at the Permian Lee rivalry just minutes before the big game. Lone Star Football, showdown in the Permian Basin. Thursday at 7 on FSN Southwest. If it's Texas high school football, it's on FSN. The only place for in-depth, comprehensive coverage from across the state. Craig Way joins Dana Larson to bring you High School Scoreboard live. Fridays at midnight, only on FSN Southwest.
We're here at Jack Trice Stadium, a 24-point lead for Texas A&M. The Cyclones trying to dig into the bag of tricks with a stake field goal.
Yeah, let's take a look at it. Here comes Texas A&M off the edge, and the pressure on Love, who did start a game at quarterback here for Iowa State, so he can throw it a little bit. But look at them close on him, and it deflects the ball a little bit. I don't know. The way Texas A&M was closing to it, when he had gotten inside the 12-yard line, it would have been close, would have been dicey.
So A&M thinks they've saw enough of Reggie McNeil and a new quarterback into the game for the Aggies.
Yeah, it's not Jackson Appel.
No. Ty Brannion into the football game.
Although he's the same number.
6'3", 210-pound sophomore. Brannion actually came to A&M as a walk-on. Awarded a scholarship and working his way up the depth chart, now into the contest. He'll hand off to Courtney Lewis, and Brannion might be called upon to do that. Tim Dobbins will make the stop there for Iowa State.
Take a look at Brannion's numbers on the season. 9 of 13, almost 70% completions. Not bad. He hasn't thrown any touchdowns, hasn't thrown any interceptions, so they're giving him some opportunity here. I think it's a smart move by Coach Fran. You talked about it a couple of times, BJ. The hitting's pretty severe out there. Why risk, with it with such a comfortable lead, why risk McNeil to injury?
Second down, 7 yards to go. Brannion out of the gun. He'll give to Lewis, and he'll try to run it off tackle. Now, it's shipped around, but Brett Curvey and Tyson Smith will haul him to the turf.
Tries the left side for A&M.
Curvey, he's a little fire plug in there now. He's one of those guys that swallowed a bowling ball. He's got that big neck, and he gets thicker from the rest. I mean, he's like a shot put with legs. You know, he's got that low center of gravity. You have to come off the line of scrimmage on your kneecaps to get under his pads.
You mentioned Brannion. Earlier this year, he got a chance to play for A&M in the closing minutes against Utah and engineered a 2-minute drive to perfection. Well, the Aggies are going to allow the clock to expire here in the third quarter. Right now, they've got a 24-point lead. You're watching college football here on FSN.
You're watching FSN Southwest, the only sports network that puts Southwest fans first. The Southwest Sports Report.
You're passionate about sports.
A complete nightly newscast. We'll take you behind the scenes for exclusive interviews and in-depth stories.
You've come to the right place.
The Southwest Sports Report, nightly at 10.
Where Southwest fans know first. FSN Southwest. This weekend on Fox NFL Sunday. The always opinionated, always outrageous Terrell Owens is live in studio with the guys. Then, Warner and the rejuvenated Giants face a crucial showdown with their hated rival. But Testaverde and the Cowboys are ready to slug it out in this classic NFC grudge match. It's a Fox NFL Sunday doubleheader this weekend presented in HD. It's IMAX, home of the funniest, freshest opinions in sports.
It don't mean a thing if you ain't got that bling. He's one of the most feared athletes in the history of American sports.
Every weeknight, Max takes on today's biggest names.
Welcome back to my ongoing argument with the whole wide world.
IMAX, weeknights on FSN.
24-point lead as we begin the final 15 minutes of play. With Dave Lapham, this is BJ Shapen. Let's go to the sideline with Karen Schulte.
Well, VJ, not happy with the 4-8 finish last year. Coach Dennis Franchione this year decided he wanted more unity amongst his players and his staff, so he issued these Texas A&M purple wristbands to everybody and said, you only accept this if you can operate under one heartbeat and play for one name, the name on the front of your jersey. You'll notice that no Aggie player has individual names written on the back.
Interesting. Here's Branyan taking it himself, getting the first down and more.
Wow. Better wheels than I thought. Yeah, Karen, he took his team to see Miracle, and of course that's exactly what Coach Brooks did with the hockey team. You know, you're playing for the country on the front of your jersey, and he thought that last year there were too many guys playing for themselves and not for the team. So, you know, nice little motivational tool right there. And BJ, I thought like you, they won the Big 12 opener. Thought the names were coming back on the unis, but no go.
Got success.
Yeah.
No names on the back. Guess they're going to stick with it.
If it's not broken, don't fix it.
Branyan will run the Aggie offense out of the gun. 1st and 10 at their own 31. It's time, though. Give it to a new tailback into the contest. Actually, a new handoff actually goes to Keith Joseph, the fullback. And the 6'2", 252-pound senior from Houston will take it ahead for a few yards. Nick Leaders will make the tackle for Iowa State.
And once again, we talked about it earlier, Texas A&M is going to feature the ground game. Coming into today's action, only 11 teams in the country that have rushed it for 200 a game and thrown it for 200 a game. Could happen again today.
Now look, trips to the top of the field for the Aggies. They put a man in motion. Branyan will air it to the near sideline. Is that a live football? No, they're going to say it's incomplete. Tried to flank it out there for Irvin Taylor.
It's a good thing he dropped it because it would have been a completion for a 3-yard loss or about a 4-yard loss.
There's another look at it again as Branyan. Didn't look like he got a good grip on the football when he released it.
Stands tall in that pocket as well. That can be a real advantage. When the blitz is in your face, you can see right over the top of it and hit the vacated area.
On offense, A&M really working through their depth chart now. 3rd down, 7 yards to go. Aggies with the ball at their own 34-yard line. Branyan looks to throw, pressure's on, he'll take off with it. He'll get just shy of the 40-yard line. That's a few yards shy of that 1st down marker. And A&M will be forced to punt it away.
Les Koenig is doing the same thing with Branyan that he does with Reggie McNeil. 2 looks on the same side of the field. Your third option, if neither is obviously open, tuck it and run. That's the next best option with your guys' athletic ability. Intermediate, deep look, not there. Tuck it and get what you can.
Look at this again. A&M only allowing just over a yard per punt return. Todd Miller fumbles the football here, but he'll pounce right on top of it. Might have had a chance to return that one, but the Iowa State offense will take over inside of their own 15-yard line.
Jacob Young crushed that. That ball was smoked.
He must like the air up here in Ames because entering the game tonight, his punting average was just over 34 yards per punt. Tonight he's really gotten into him.
He really has, and they've been fair caught or dropped, or as you mentioned, BJ, there hasn't been many returns, and a lot of his punts have been fair caught inside the 20, and with a 1.2 yard average per punt return and averaging over 13 yards when you return a punt, that's one less 1st down that you have to worry about.
In fact, Young averaging about 41 yards per punt. Austin Flynn in this series at quarterback. Brett Meyer was warming up on the sideline.
There's a penalty flag coming in late here. Penalty flag, see what this is about.
Jasmine come together to make a hit for Texas A&M.
Let's take a look at some missed opportunities here for the Cyclones.
And this was when they were trying to go to Blythe with those fades and just take it a little bit back, a little deeper to the back corner. Blythe got one hand on it, left hand couldn't make the one-handed catch, and there he's tipping it to himself, trying to recover and make a play on it. And now here's the fake field goal. It was there. Love couldn't quite complete the pass. So Iowa State, when they got close inside the red zone, that's when they stalled and sputtered and stammered.
Personal foul called against Texas A&M. And that'll move the football ahead 15 yards, so the Cyclones will have it 1st and 10 from their own 29-yard line.
Well, look at that. Open the flat, read the play off the wristband. You know, it's pretty good. If it's sunny, you can use it as a visor too. Keep the sun out of your eyes. I wonder if you can order some appetizers off that thing.
Maybe have like a little Rolodex or cell phone on that thing. Here's James Wright. He'll haul that ball in. He'll take it up near the 35-yard line. And
it'd be great. Have a little flat screen TV on that thing. Pop it up or beam them up, Scotty.
Oh, look, Kansas has a 1-point lead over Kansas State in the third quarter, right?
How about that?
Wow.
And Gino doing a great job over in Jayhawk country, and Kansas State a little bit rattled right now.
Second down, 4 yards to go. They'll run the option as they get it to Jason Scales, and the freshman will take it near the 38-yard line as he was pushed out of bounds. He's held shy of the first down marker by about a yard.
Jason Scales, 5'9", 200 pounds, the prototype back now in college football. All you can tackle is a pectoral and a quadricep. He gives you no hitting surface. He's so short, gets underneath your pads. Look at that right stiff arm, pretty good. Not bad. That's a big linebacker that he just took to the turf unceremoniously. Justin Warren took it right in the smush.
Brings up third down, Scales in at tailback. They'll bring in a fullback. They'll give it to Scales, and he'll take it straight ahead and get stacked up right at the line of scrimmage. Let's see where they mark him down at as he was pushed back by Marcus Jasmine.
Texas A&M last year could not control the line of scrimmage offensively or defensively. One of the big reasons they're potentially going to go to 4-1 if this holds up, this 24-point lead, is their improvement in the offensive and defensive lines. You win games from the inside out. You win the battle at the line of scrimmage. It makes it a lot easier for the skill people to get their thing done, although I think linemen can throw a ball better than a quarterback can pass block. Who's got skill?
Fourth down, Iowa State's going to go for it. Fourth and less than a foot. The lineup out of the eye. They give it to Stevie Hicks. He's got the first down as he crosses the 40 up to the 41. He did less than a yard. He picked up 2.
And right now, Texas A&M isn't totally disgusted by that because Iowa State, the clock is their ally right now and Iowa State's enemy. 10.5 minutes to play. Pretty good surge at the line of scrimmage. Tight end doing a good job on the edge, sustaining blocks. Texas A&M not able to separate quickly enough, and right there, that's the story. Down 24 points and a little over 10 minutes to work with.
Scales and Hicks in the backfield out of the gun. Flynn will toss it ahead to Scales, and the pass completion as it was a shuffle pass to Scales. He'll take it ahead for a gain of 1.5 yards.
Scales is one of those running backs that can hide behind that big offensive line and then explode on you. Look at him as he works his way back to the huddle. He's going to disappear. Here's all the big linemen, and here he goes. You can't find him. And he can cozy up behind those guys, get right on their heels, and all of a sudden pop out of there, make it tough on linemen and linebackers.
As the Prep had more than 6,000 yards rushing at his high school at West Des Moines Valley. In fact, led them to a state championship. Here's Austin Flynn. He'll keep it himself as he calls his own number. And he'll take it near the 45, so he gains about 2 yards. It'll bring up third and long. Again, Cyclones as a team rushing to have 145 yards on 37 carries.
A lot of times running backs, right? Look at Stevie Hicks right there. And nice lead block in there. It's a lot of times it's what you do without the football that makes you a complete running back. People watch you run and catch. But you have to get your nose bloody and dirty sometimes and block as well. Stevie Hicks is pretty good.
Third down, 6 yards to go. Cyclones need to take it beyond the 50 to pick up the first. Flynn rolling out. Will fire it down the field. His receiver went out of bounds as Blythe was pushed out of bounds. I don't think it would have counted anyway as he was well out of bounds running down that far sideline.
Blythe is long and lean, isn't he?
Yeah.
Man, I'll tell you, he can get those guns pumped up a little bit more. But, yeah, he ran out of bounds, and he was well out of bounds, probably about 3 or 4 yards out of bounds, and still out of bounds when he caught Flynn's pass. He never worked his way back onto the field to play. He's in that 5-yard white area, knowing that even though he caught it, it won't count.
This will bring up fourth down and 6 for Iowa State at their own 45. Again out of the gun. Flynn will look to throw, throws it over the middle and overshoots his intended target, and that was Todd Miller.
Todd Miller's 5 foot 8 inch, 9 inch stature was probably a factor there. If that was Blythe at 6'5", might have been a completion. But Flynn threw it a little bit too tall.
So the Aggies will take over on downs with 8:40 to go here in the game. Texas A&M with a 27-3 lead over Iowa State. Coach Fran and his Aggies putting in a strong bid to win their first road game under his direction.
Please welcome Shaquille O'Neal. And now, Pamela Anderson. Chris Fry. Let's do a big hand for Samuel L. Jackson. I'm excited.
There's something special in the air on the best damn sports show, period. Weeknights on FSN.
Totally Football is your inside source for all pro and college gridiron news.
The hardest hitting football show in the biz.
Patrick O'Neill and our insider Jay Glazer break all the stories before anyone else.
When I first told me, yes, this is going to cause such a heated debate.
We'll take you inside the huddle and behind the scenes for all the pigskin action. Totally Football, weeknights on FSN.
A&M with the lead on Iowa State. Oh, Dave, this game surprising to a lot of people. I mean, the odds makers had it A&M pegged as an 8.5-point favorite. The Cyclones haven't cashed in on some opportunities, and A&M has tonight.
No doubt about it. You know, every time A&M has gotten in the red zone tonight, 4 times, 4 touchdowns. That's can't do any better. And that's a big reason right there, Reggie McNeil. He is a dual threat. He can hurt you with his feet, and he can hurt you with that right arm right there hanging off the shoulder. He's got a very strong arm. Coach Fran's happy with what's going on at Texas A&M. You know, you better watch out, Big 12 South. There's another sheriff in town. And Texas loses to Oklahoma today, 12-0. Texas A&M, always a huge game at the end of the season. The way A&M is improving, even though that game's in Austin, could be a battle.
Texas Tech with a big lead late on Nebraska in the third quarter. Tech leading at 42-10 over Nebraska.
Tech's tough in Lubbock. They really are.
That's Keith Joseph on the carry there for the A&M Aggies. And for A&M, they've got a big showdown coming up next week. They'll take on top 25 program in Oklahoma State. A&M maybe will get into the top 25 with this win this week, but still receiving some votes, but haven't been able to crack that top 25.
That's going to be a good matchup. Morency is doing a heck of a job at Oklahoma State. Tremendous amount of respect I have for Les Miles and his coaching staff and Coach Fran and his. And it's going to be a good battle.
The South certainly took it to the north today. Oklahoma State beating Colorado 42-14. Here's Brannion to throw, has a wide open man as it's Boone Stutz, and he'll take it inside of the 20-yard line.
Boone.
You can hear the Aggie fans that made the trek all the way up to Ames.
Well, Boone has followed this coaching staff everywhere they've been. TCU, Alabama, now Texas A&M. He's a deep snapper. He's a guy that continues to work and improve as a tight end.
Doesn't he represent what college football is all about, though? I mean, he was a backup offensive lineman in high school and then took an opportunity, learned how to deep snap, and all of a sudden he's finding jobs.
Yep, and that's a kid that had a goal, had a dream, and he's accomplished it. Congratulations to him.
1st and 10 Aggies at the 16-yard line of Iowa State. Brannion will give it to Lewis, and he'll get it inside of the 15 down to the 13.
Texas A&M finds itself in the red zone again. They're 4 for 4, as we've talked about. They did miss an extra point, or it was blocked by Iowa State. What will happen in this red zone opportunity?
And for the Cyclones, next week they'll try to bounce back on the road at Colorado.
Colorado got off to a 3-0 start, but have fallen on tougher times since. But boy, with all that went on in the offseason for them, what a start at 3-0.
Offset eye in the backfield. On 2nd down, Brannion will now take off with it. He's finding linemen in front of him. He'll take it inside of the 10.
Number 19, Brandon.
Talk about serpentine. he ran a bunch of yards. I don't know how many yards he ran to pick up like 4 or 5, but it had to be a lot.
Well, his offensive lineman looked kind of surprised that he was coming back his way.
Yeah. It was supposed to be a naked bootleg, and he realized the run action by his linemen were going to go to the left. So when he found out that it was taken away from him on the naked, he went back where all his help was, all his bodies were. And Coach Fran may look at that on tape and say, you know what? That's not a bad idea. Sometimes I see Texas A&M doing a few things that Utah did against him. And you know what? If you see a coach like Urban Meyer that had a great game plan and executed some things against you like they did against Fran and Texas A&M, why not incorporate some of it in your game plan? He has. It's a copycat game, I'll tell you.
A&M taking a timeout now with 6:05 to go in the game, and we'll see what the Aggies come up with when we come back.
Let's throw some punches. They're 12 men with nothing in common but a dream.
Once I step between those ropes, I consider myself a warrior.
Now, Oscar De La Hoya will guide them as they compete for a shot at a real title fight. Exclusive to its new home, FSN. Real boxers, real punches, no actors.
Win, lose, or draw, this is it right here.
12 will start, but only one will become the next great champ. A 4-hour marathon starts tomorrow on FSN.
You love football? So do we. Fox Football Friday. Yay! This Friday, we go around the leagues to see what's hot and preview the top games for the weekend. You need to know? We'll tell you. Well, I tell you what, second is not good enough. Ooh, that's not nice. Previews, predictions, and much, much more right here on Fox Football Friday. Get over there and compete for a spot. Yes! This show does not work unless you get involved.
Fox Football Friday, only on Fox Sports World, America's soccer channel.
We're in great shape.
Totally NASCAR, the only source that puts the racing fan in tune with what's happening on and around the track. With expert analysis, racing insights, and the latest reports from the winner's circle, your all-access pass to everything that is NASCAR. Totally NASCAR, weeknights on FSN.
6:05 to go in the game. A&M knocking on the door once again, trying to keep that streak alive inside of the red zone. 13 of their last 13 tries inside of the red zone. They've come up with a lot of touchdowns during that time. Well, here they're faced with a third down.
11 touchdowns in the last 13 red zone opportunities. Amazing.
Branyan will send a man in motion. That's Carter. Look to go his way into the end zone, and the catch is made. Touchdown, Texas A&M. Tack another one on as Daquan Mobley hauls that reception in.
Daquan Mobley, what a journey to Texas A&M it's been for him. Started in the Bronx, junior college ball in California, and now he's in the state of Texas. Good size speed ratio, 6'2", over 200 pounds, very physical, tough, strong kid.
First touchdown of the year for Mobley. In fact, he was expected to make an impact and has for the A&M offense so far this year. It's his 5th catch of the season. And the extra point is good.
Making 12 touchdowns in the last 14 red zone journeys. That is stronger than new rope.
34-3, A&M with the lead on Iowa State. Oh, that Big 12 South looks very, very good.
It sure does. You know, and big game, or a game tonight for Missouri down to Baylor. Will Missouri take control of the Big 12 North? And Texas A&M, the cadets are like, are those do-rags? What would those be? I mean,
rally towels?
Yeah, rally towels. With those haircuts, I don't know. You don't need a do-rag. Or maybe you do. Do you need a do-rag?
I don't. That's a tough question. Might have to ask them. Send Karen over to ask them. But well, you see Iowa State down here 34-3, and we had talked about the fact that they've got a big game coming up next week with Colorado, and boy, that Big 12 North, Missouri, you mentioned, has a chance to kind of leap ahead of almost everybody with a victory.
Right, particularly if Kansas beats Kansas State.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be, it would be Missouri kind of by default, just surviving and advancing kind of.
Well, let's go down to Karen Schulte, who's standing by the band. And is that a do-rag or not?
I tell you what, BJ, I can barely hear you, but that is because this Texas A&M band is absolutely something. They put on one heck of a show, and whether or not you're cheering for the Cyclones or the Aggies here tonight, you have to appreciate what they've done. They hadn't been to Ames in the last 8 years. They decided to make this trip for 250 band members here tonight so they could be a part of the homecoming festivities, and are they ever something. Kyle Knight is a band member. You guys are the only military-style band in the country. Boy, you guys awfully proud.
Yeah, we're really proud to be here. We come out and we work hard all week to get our drill done and try to impress the fans, so it's a lot of fun,
Now, your football team's in pretty good shape, but I think you guys probably have to condition and work on your endurance as well with that halftime show that we saw.
Yes, ma'am, we do. We work 7 days a week pretty much, and we get up in the mornings and start drill and practice and everything, so it takes a lot of hard work, but we get it done.
All in all, there's 350 band members. I understand you left the freshmen at home. I bet they're not real happy.
No, they're not very happy, but we get to give them time to get to relax and stuff like that, so they deserve the time off.
All right, you guys sound great. Thank you. Thanks, Kyle. Apparently, if you brought the freshmen, you needed a whole other plane, so that's why they're not here.
Yes, ma'am. Austin Flynn misses on that pass. Good manners, too, right?
Oh, yeah. No, there's no doubt. You know, you do have to admire what they do, though. I mean,
Yeah.
that was a precision drill they put on at halftime. It was it had the fans on their feet. There's no doubt about it.
Well, worth the price of admission. 5:47 to go here in the game. And did you play band?
I was going to say, did you ever play an instrument, BJ?
No.
I got an unbelievable story that I got to tell you after this play.
Flynn will run it out of the shotgun, 2nd and 10. Looks to set up. He'll fire it down the field. Has a man there, but it's in and out of the hands of John Davis, incomplete. I got it.
All right, my brother played the piano, my sister played the piano, so my mother said, look, you got to play an instrument. So I had no interest, and I said, you know, I'm going to show her. I'm going to play the violin. So I go in and I take a violin lesson for 30. Actually, the guy says, you have to practice 350 minutes during the course of the week. I practiced about 30 seconds, and the guy kicked me out after one. These fingers, I couldn't handle those violin strings. That was a bad deal.
So you go, well, I'm just going to be a future NFL lineman. And
yeah, I was no Stradivarius player, that's for sure.
3rd down and 10 yards to go for Iowa State. Flynn again. He's going to hold on to it. Now will decide late to take off with it. He'll put his head down and get near the 1st down marker. Well, he was holding everybody up there.
Flynn is a competitor. There's no question about that. He is a feisty dude, boy. No quitting that young man. No quitting in Iowa State, and that is characteristic of a Dan McCarney team. There's no question about it.
See the head up. Iowa State with an all-true freshman backfield. Greg Coleman in at fullback, and of course Scales the tailback. But Flynn's going to look to air it out now. Will keep it himself, and he'll be tackled. Good open field tackle there, made by the A&M Aggies. As Buell came up with a stop. Or make it Stephen Hodge.
And again, the big factor as it melts. Getting near 5-minute mark. A big ally for Texas A&M with a 31-point lead and a big enemy for the Cyclones.
Lone tailback is Scales on 2nd down and 9. Flynn's going to air it out. And he'll throw it into the turf.
You know, there's a tradition down at Texas A&M about a wrecking crew defense. And it used to be linebacker U, and last year it certainly wasn't a wrecking crew, or if it was a wrecking crew, it got wrecked. I mean, it wasn't just that A&M lost, it's how it lost. 77-0 to Oklahoma, 46-15 to Texas. Look at them defend here. Look at them in coverage. I mean, they lost to Nebraska 48-12 with just it was losing by huge margins, and there was no wrecking crew. They were destroyed. Now, defensively, as you mentioned, they pitch a shutout against Wyoming. They're holding Iowa State to 3. It's a salty defense again.
Flynn again will look to pass. Blitz is on, hit as he throws, and it will go out of bounds. Boy, Flynn got crunched on the play by A&M defensive back that was coming in, Archie McDaniel.
Exactly. McDaniel can get after it. He's got 6'2", 226-pounder. linebacker / defensive back. That's the thing. They have so many athletes that have a size-speed ratio that are interchangeable. You know, they can be like a linebacker in a nickel defense, but still go out in the slot and cover people. And very versatile athletes A&M presents.
4th down, Iowa State will go for it. Need to take it to the inside of the 40. Flynn's going to roll out. Heat is on. He'll unload. Down the field has Davis. He'll make the catch at the 10.
Wow, what a play. McDaniel was in hot pursuit again, and he got Flynn just as he started to throw the football. Flynn makes a great throw. Davis makes an even better catch. Watch McDaniel in hot pursuit of Flynn. Dives at his feet as he's throwing the ball. All arm strength there. That's a good play on the other end as well. I mean, that's finishing a play. That's catching the ball with your hands. Davis does a good job.
Davis might have gotten tweaked on the plays. He went off the field limping. Cyclones have it 1st and goal at the 8-yard line. They'll give it to Jason Scales, and he got the wood laid to him.
Did he ever?
The center of the line for Iowa State.
Make it Red Bryant with the tackle.
Iowa State on the reverse side of things, their red zone opportunities have netted them a mere field goal. Big difference in this football game. Red zone opportunity cashed in, finalized by A&M, not by the Cyclones.
I mentioned the prototypical running back as we saw Jason Scales leaving the field, but he's gotten some direct hits tonight. I mean,
he has, and that he'll tell you that's his bad. He shouldn't take those flush hits.
Iowa State with a different look offensively. Here's Austin Flynn, and that different look doesn't look so good as Iowa State loses a chunk of yardage. Flynn dropped behind the 17-yard line.
Near the 19-yard line.
Thompson was just overwhelmed. Thompson, you see, he faked to the running back, and he just gets knocked backwards, overwhelmed by the down lineman. And everything just collapsed in Flynn's face.
Foliaki putting the pressure on there for the A&M Aggies, and in fact, Texas A&M leads the Big 12 in total sacks with 17 on the year.
Today, they came into the game with 15. The Cyclones had allowed 15. They gave up 2 today, so they've allowed 17.
3rd and goal from the 17-yard line. Flynn, 2-step drop. He's going to air it out for the end zone, and it will be incomplete. Alon Moses trying to make a play on the football, and it'll bring up 4th and goal.
Nice job by Mays. Mays did a heck of a job finding the football. Got his head turned, found the ball, and got a right hand on it.
Cyclones doubtfully going to go for it. 4th and goal from the 17-yard line of Texas A&M.
Again, A&M, bend but don't break. Allow you to run between the tackles. Once you get inside in between the 20s, once you get inside the 20, slam you.
Comes A&M towards the line, but they'll back off. Flynn looking to throw. Plenty of time. Now just trying to buy some more time, and he'll go down to a knee. He'll lose 4 yards on the play on another sack for the Aggies, and Texas A&M will take over on downs.
What happened on that, Texas A&M only rushed 3 and dropped 8 into coverage, and the field's compressed. They're in the red zone. So there's no holes, no windows to throw the football. And basically the coverage allowed the pressure to eventually get to Flynn. He was running around like crazy trying to create, but there was no available space to throw the ball.
So the Aggies up by 31 with 2:46 to go in the game.
It's easier to defend in the red zone when you know the opponent has to score touchdowns to get back in the game.
Branyan still in at quarterback as the Aggies go with a new tailback into the contest. As
ball's out.
Fumble on the play. The Aggies haven't turned it over a whole lot this year. Iowa State's defense saying they have it. No word from the official. They mark it for 2nd down.
Leaders, the first to make contact.
The Aggies have only lost 1 fumble all year. They have not thrown an interception. And have not thrown an interception yet today. So in 5 games, no interceptions thrown.
Here's the upcoming schedule for the Aggies this year. That big one, as we mentioned, Oklahoma State. Then they've got one more northern team in Colorado.
And then look at this stretch. Oklahoma, Texas Tech, Texas. That's a little trifecta there in November.
End of the ball game. Chris Alexander, a freshman running back out of Humboldt, get the pitch here and is taken out of bounds right at the 25-yard line. Mosier ushering him out, and here's Iowa State's schedule.
And really, Colorado, Baylor. I mean, Kansas is going to be a nice matchup. Colorado on the road is a tough one. Nebraska is kind of a Jekyll and Hyde team as they try to respond to Coach Callahan's West Coast offense. You know, the thing is, Iowa State, if they bring their A game, can compete, you know, in a lot of those matchups. And I think Texas A&M is playing with an A game over the last month. These last 4 games, they've been playing as well as anybody in the country.
They've got a lot of confidence in their play. Here's Brannion. They'll go with the draw as they give it off to Alexander, and he'll run free into the secondary, out past the 40 and up to the 44-yard line. Wow, gain of 20 on the play.
That's a runaway beer truck there. Hard to take him down. I mean, he was in high gear. That's a load. You can't tackle a guy like this high. You hit him high up around the shoulder pads, he's just going to carry you. And I'll tell you what, about 3 or 4 Cyclones owe him a token for that ride. 25 cents each. You got to pay for the token. You don't get free rides.
95 seconds now to go in the contest, and back to the drawing board for Iowa State and for A&M. Setting themselves up for a big matchup next week, as we had mentioned. Brannion again will give it to John Ray, or excuse me, Chris Alexander, as Nick Leaders will make the tackle for Iowa State.
You know, you look at Texas A&M, they're going through another game here, it looks like, without a giveaway. 1 giveaway in 5 games. The school record for fewest giveaways in a season is 15. They're about ready to just blow it away. I mean, that's just a phenomenal deal. Last year, they were minus 11, worst turnover ratio in the Big 12. They've just turned that completely around. That's the reason they're winning.
Yeah, they had 12 turnovers through their first 4 games last year.
Right.
Give it to their big running back again, and Chris Alexander again will lug it ahead for a few more yards and probably 1 more play. But a timeout taken by Iowa State.
And Coach Fran is the turnaround master. We mentioned he's been in 6 teams turnaround situations. He's totaled 15 more wins in year 2 from year 1. He had a +4 wins. Right now, they've won as many games as they won all last year at 4-8. They're sitting 4-1 right now. That's a major turnaround.
All right, we'll have the conclusion of the football game when we come back.
The Pac-10 tournament returns in March. An automatic bid to the Big Dance is on the line as the men's tourney returns to Staples Center, while the women do battle at HP Pavilion in San Jose. This is your chance to be a part of the madness. For tickets, log on to www.pac-10.org.
Now, there's a place where college never ends. Fox College Sports, the new network that brings you nearly 150 games from conferences like the Pac-10, Big 12, and more. Plus local coaches shows and news from around the country. This is the network college football fans always dreamed of. To order Fox College Sports, call 1-877-2-GET-FCS.
3rd and 6 for the Aggies. Here's Brannion. We'll go with a quick pitch to the inside man, and A&M won't go anywhere. It'll bring up 4th down as Urban Taylor wrangled down by Tyson Smith and company, and it will bring up 4th down for the Aggies.
Timeout for Iowa State.
They want 1 more crack at it, and that says a lot. You mentioned Iowa State continues to fight. They stay at it. Let's take a look at the Big 12 standings. Here's your Northern Division standings.
And if Missouri can pull off the victory tonight, Nebraska didn't get it done today. Iowa State could fall to 0-2 in the division, obviously, and Kansas State, Kansas. That's a battle going on there. Colorado lost today. And then the South, Texas A&M will go to 2-0, 4-1 overall. Oklahoma State, look at those. They're right up there. The state of Oklahoma leading the Big 12 South. But Texas A&M is in hot pursuit, and of course you can't rule out Texas. Although the Red River Shootout is always such a heartbreaker because the loser loses an opportunity to get in the Big 12 championship, loses an opportunity to play for the national championship, all in one game. I mean, it's remarkable, and Oklahoma got it done again. Congratulations to the Sooners. To pitch a shutout. How many games in a row? Texas, what was it, 287 straight games or something without being shut out. They had the longest streak in college football. Well, somebody else has got the longest streak now because Oklahoma ended it.
That title that Bob Stoops takes along with him, best big game coach in the nation, continues to hang on his wall, although he probably won't put it up on the wall.
So his mojo is all about confidence. You know, he tells his team, look, Texas is good. We play our game. We're pretty good, too. We'll be all right.
Iowa State will go after it. Nothing doing. And a fair catch called for by Todd Miller. So Iowa State will have 23 seconds to work with. They have one timeout remaining. Down 34-3.
You know, Iowa State really didn't self-destruct with turnovers. It was just a matter. And Iowa State, I didn't think played poorly. Honestly, A&M had more horses. I mean, you know, their X's were bigger, faster, quicker than Iowa State's O's. That's what it boiled down to. No matter how you game plan it, guys from Texas A&M just showed more athleticism and made more plays.
Made plays definitely when they had to, and it all started with Reggie McNeil. He goes out of the football game with more than 238 yards of total offense. That's shy of what he'd been averaging by about 4, but A&M will definitely take it. Here's Flynn. He'll throw it to the near sideline. It's hauled in by Miller. He'll get out of bounds with 17 seconds to go in the game.
Flynn's going to be in the jacuzzi tomorrow. He took some shots. Meyer took a shot to the head. The quarterbacks for Iowa State took some licks tonight. Look, you got a little hitch in the get-along there for Flynn. I mean, he's limping.
Iowa State, though, continues to fight here at the end of the football game.
Bloodied but unbowed.
Working undoubtedly for next week. Flynn out of the shotgun. Now the heat's on. And that one is going to be picked by Texas A&M. Another interception for the Aggie defense. That's number 10 on the season, and this time getting the interception is Brandon Leone.
Plus 12 in the turnover department are the Aggies right now. And turnovers are the truest statistic in all of football. When you finish plus, you usually win football games, particularly when you finish more than +1. And the Aggies are there now.
So A&M will undoubtedly take a knee. And this ball game is going to be over. Well, Texas A&M gets their first win on the road under Dennis Franchione as they knock off Iowa State here tonight, 34-3. Well, now the celebration is on for the Aggies.
Monkey off the back right now, no question about it.
Well, that's going to wrap it up for us from here. For Karen Schulte, Dave Lapham, this is BJ Shaven, and special thanks to our producer Mel Crippen, Director Randy Shelton. We say so long from Ames, where your final score has Texas A&M 34, Iowa State 3.